Hello everyone. It's a pleasure always to spend time with each and every one of you. Unfortunately, I didn't make it in this weekend. I was a little selfish. I got in some fruit trees. I got a couple of navel orange trees that are huge, and the oranges are already this big on them, and I'm going, I can make this tree the tree of Nirvanic oranges. I'm excited about that. And I got a Murcot, which is a honey tangerine. Talk about a sweet, delicious tangerine. And I got the pomelo trees. Those are the cross between an orange and a grapefruit. Those are these great big things. They're incredible. How was your weekend? Did you all have fun this weekend? I hope you did. I hope there wasn't too many of you suffering. The cycles of life, as we call it. I wanted to kind of get on and answer some questions because I got so many here, guys. I'm so sorry. I just can't ever get enough time to catch up with you guys. So please forgive me about that. And maybe we can, someday get caught up here. But let me go over some of these and see where we go on this. Which is the best product for migraines? Well, we used to use the antispasmodic with the pain formula. And if you use those two together just before a migraine, you feel it coming on, it'll stop it. To tell you the truth, though, I like fixing it. And migraines can come out of the stomach, can come out of the head, both ways. So clean your GI tract, get your head cleaned out, sinuses and the pressure and all this stuff. Get your GI tract cleaned up. That'll also affect the nervous system that runs to the back of the head, the autonomic. And so just getting all the GI, you wouldn't think the stomach has a lot to do with it, but it is the head. Remember, the seat of the autonomic. So when you're inflamed and very acidic in the stomach, it breaks down your nervous system. You can feel that. You can have chest pains from that, shortness of breath from that, all types of things, because remember, that's the seat of the autonomic. So you want to clean all that up and get rid of migraines. I was raised on migraines. I had migraines probably every other day. And they took me to a specialist, and he said, oh, his eye muscles are not strong enough yet. He needs to read an hour every day, and reading will help get rid of the migraines. I mean, even at my age of probably 9 or so, I'm looking at that guy going, what? I mean, it just was stupid to me, even at that. I didn't want to know if I was a milk drinker and addicted to nose drops and, full of pressure and all that kind of stuff. No, nobody thinks of anything like that. What's causing that? I'm just eating the food. I was thinking about that on the way to work this morning. A lot of people just don't realize the food. When you look at the medical world, they're so lost in diseases, they don't realize the food is your chemistry. Is everything. Everything is chemistry. And that it couldn't be your lifestyle. And that's the sad part about the concept of diseases in that way. It takes you out of the element of all rationale into some hooky-kooky stuff that doesn't exist. And you miss the point. You get trapped on pharmaceuticals and your life goes to Hellville. Bad stuff here. For the adrenal glands. Well, if you're real chronic, of course, I use a glandular for the adrenal glands, but I have an adrenal formula. I've been a little lazy about borage oil and stuff because the FDA doesn't like that. It says it's toxic, and so some of the good stuff for adrenal glands I can't use because of the FDA. But I think my adrenal formula is as par with anyone else's or a lot better. I mean, I've got everything out there from the Siberian ginseng stuff all the way to parsley and dandelion and everything we know that's good for the adrenal glands. But also remember, they sit on top of the kidneys. And when the kidneys don't filter, it backs up into the adrenal glands first. So this is why people always pop cysts on adrenal glands and tumors on adrenal glands and things like this, because again, the lymphatic system And so, depending, if you're real chronic, I'd use a glandular for a short period of time, you know, a couple of months, 3 months, and then pop over and use an herbal. At the same time, though, I'm working on my kidneys, right? Because that's what's filtering the lymph system. So you kind of get in that catch-22, and I talked about it on one of these videos, how, you know, when you back up when the kidneys lose their filtration, it backs up everywhere, but everything close gets first. Well, the adrenals. So now you get in a catch-22 because you need the kidneys to filter to clean the adrenals, and yet you need the adrenals to turn on the kidneys. You see what I'm saying? And pretty soon, you can get yourself in a situation where it takes a while to unlock that door. Because you need better kidney improvement to get better adrenal improvement, but you can't get better kidney improvement without better adrenal improvement. See where I'm going with that? So it's kind of why some people are spinning there just a little while, trying to open up that door. But once you do, now you've done yourself an incredible justice by opening up the door of your sewer system, and finally you can get some remedy from all these symptoms. And for eyelashes falling out, eyelashes falling out, huh? Well, again, you're back into acidosis. You're back into the lymphatic system. Do you have the granulated eyelids? You know, I even had those growing up. I used to pull my eyelashes out. I didn't know any better. Why did I have all this mucus? Why did I get mucus from my eyes and all the mucus on the eyelids, and, you know, they call them granulated eyelids, and all the dandruff? No one was there to tell you. That's why you guys are so valuable. The darkness and that is hovering around the health of the Homo sapien race on this planet, it's got to be broken. And then we start introducing the higher consciousness. It's time for that. So, you know, that's why you're all there. But again, I would also do some upper circulation, get more blood flowing in the head as well. You know, but the longer you have the lymph building up in the head, the more suppression you can have of blood flow. You know, the swelling can suppress nerve and blood flow. So, you know, all of this, you know, once you start learning about the lymph system, acidosis, the result of acidosis, the symptoms from acidosis, which is what we call inflammation. That's an immune response to acids or proteins. And you start seeing all the issues that we see in diseases from acidosis. And then the relationship between acidosis and what can happen to the cells when it becomes intra or inside of the cell acidosis. You know, it's for these separate people. However, are there any that should not be taken together? It's for 3 separate people. However, are there any that should not be taken together? You know what? I tell you the truth. When it comes to botanicals, the beauty of that scenario, you might have some tugging, as Michael Tara says. You might have on some herbs, but it's rare. When it comes to my clients, if you want to take essential oils, you want to take flower essence, you want to take herbs, you want to take them all together, I have absolutely no problem with that. It's just that I'm a formula guy, and the more different herbs, maybe not the better, but when you have formulas with multiple herbs, they almost synergistically help each other. And if you're making formulas and you use your intuition, your spirituality, you'll know whether those herbs like each other or not. You know, you don't have to always have the mind there to tell you, because we don't always know. So you want to feel. Sometimes feeling is perception is greater than your mind, than what you think in that way, because the mind is so corrupted now with propaganda and conditioning that who knows. But thanks for those questions. Hi there. I recently underwent an appendectomy as my appendix burst, and I was in the hospital for many days. Obviously, they put me on a whole bunch of antibiotics and medicinos during this time. But I am out now and getting back into my healthy eating. I eat around 80 to 90% raw these days, but I do eat meat, including red meat, as I begin to feel dizzy if I go completely off of meat altogether. Holy crap, are you kidding me? When you see a symptom like this, guys, then that's a stimulant that meat is doing for this guy. It's acting, these proteins are acting as a stimulant. Could be the neurotransmitters in there. And then when he's not getting them, his blood pressure really goes down low, and it affects up here at the cerebellum. It could also be the stomach, though. It could be the stomach in that it is so acidic. There's a time when your stomach gets so acidic that the only way it feels better is if you eat more acids. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but you'll come across that. That is a catch-22 that'll lead you to nothing but stomach cancer and Hellville stuff. It is. There is a little window that you have to go through coming off of those proteins to let that happen. I don't have a way to check stats on you, of course, but blood sugar, blood pressure, I would be wondering why you're having this with meat. And it wouldn't be suggestive of blood sugar, although it could. Could be, because actually protein raises blood sugar. Anyone that's a diabetic that's ever checked their blood sugars, if they eat particularly a seafood meal, but you can see your blood sugars go up on proteins. But it increases acidosis, and then it increases the symptomology, But you got to get off the meat. Particularly since you've had your appendix pop, because of all the research ever done, has always had a bad finger pointing at meat, particularly red meat, at colon cancers and stuff like that. It's putrefactive, it's acidic. Right now, that's not what you need, man. And to have this, you've got to take a look at this. I'd go on a program, an herbal program, like the 14-week protocol. I would do the adrenals, 400s, maybe 1-3 times a day if it was me, and back this up and then back off of meat. Back up it with herbs and stuff like that. Go after the endocrine glands in your kidneys and then come off of the meat and go that way, because you need to come off of the dead animal tissue. The fact that you get lightheaded and dizzy, that's coming from the cerebellum. But it also could be coming from the stomach, and that means you have to get off of it anyway. Big problem. My question is about the appendicitis. Do you know what tends to cause appendicitis? Absolutely. What would you think? Now, let's look at it through the world of chemistry for a minute. Which side of chemistry causes inflammation? Or itis? Itis, in other words. Gastritis, colitis, enteritis, cystitis, bursitis. Appendicitis. Which one? Acids. Of course it's acids. Now, you got to realize that that's lymph tissue you're talking about. And the scary thing about that is when you have an appendix that pops, you know how scary that is, because that's lymph tissue. And that's more considered like the lymph tissue or the lymph nodes for the bowel. Some physicians have thought it was an old second stomach crap like that, but if you really look at that, it's lymphatic tissue. And we don't all know what's going on with that, the appendix, and what all it does, in my opinion. But it has definitely is immune, but it deals with the GI tract, the lymphatic system. And that's where we have a problem. Because when your appendix pops like that, guess what your interstitial, meaning around the cells, of your small and large bowel looks like. You must understand, by the time your appendix pops, your interstitial spaces around all your cells that make up your small bowel and your large bowel, they're backed up. So I can tell you immediately you're malabsorbed with this, and that you have problems in the wall of the stomach, probably the esophagus, the small bowel, the colon, all of this, and probably all through you. So this is a big deal, a really big deal. And the fact that they gave you antibiotics, killing the bacteria in the lymph nodes. I exercise a lot and was eat very healthy. Well, if you're eating meat, that's not healthy. And that will trip up the lymph nodes big time, put stress on them, but particularly the GI tract. And last year or 2 years ago was a 30-year study related to that. So it's enough to say you got to get on your fruits and your berries and your melons. Kick your adrenals up a little bit so you have better neurotransmitters, and also it'll help with sugar metabolism, just in case, because one of those two are why you think, that you see that symptom with protein. And it has nothing to do with it because, for you, you're not probably going to get many amino acids out of that in the process to get that. And that's not it, because you get amino acids in your fruits and your berries and your melons and your vegetables. So it has to deal with either the hormones or steroids that you find in the meat that is sustaining your nervous system, and that's neurotransmitters. Let me see. I was eating very healthy, about 80-90% raw before I went over to a Muay Thai camp in Thailand to train for 2 weeks. Wow. I bet that was fun. When I went out there, I think I was perhaps in a slow but constant state of detox, but went into cooked foods for the duration of the trip. Yeah, that could have tripped you. I mean, when tissues is hanging like that, you know, the movement, a radical movement of chemistry can definitely inspire a symptom. Whilst in Thailand, my appendix was, yeah. I mean, you probably were getting things, but I can tell you that baby was already ripe. Baby already ripe, and so that tells you you probably have chronic bowels, man. I mean, hard to have an appendix that's chronic without at least part of your GI tract chronic with it. Just, you know, rare to see that. I realize now that I was having initial pain before the trip, but when I went over there, it was, see, that was just to let you know. I have been wondering if I have stayed home with my healthy diet, would it still have popped? Well, I'll say this, it was definitely working on you. Had you been on our program or something, yeah, you would have saved it. You'd have backed it off and saved it. But that's really hard to determine those things, because sometimes when you feel a little pain, you kind of disregard it. You don't think much. But sometimes it can be, you know, a real serious problem. And this is particularly true if you feel pain off and on through years. Then you know that area is breaking down on you. You're going to have a problem there. You waited too long to fix it, you know. But that's typical, because it's so scary out there to what you might need to fix things, and then no one's sure anymore. And that's just why we need to solidify the truth of natural healing, proper healing, the way nature does it, the way it's intended to be, and get rid of these dark agey type of concepts and start getting together with a much more home plant. But this is going to be, I don't know. Does this have anything to do with the change in my diet to cooked foods perhaps? Well, I'll say this. If there was anything that spawned this on for you, it would be meat eating. If there was anything you're doing that would make you aware of this and accelerate the appendix to bursting, would be protein. I'm dead serious. It wouldn't be your carbon and your oxygen and that side. Although I was still eating a lot of fruit whilst there, but I wouldn't normally eat grains, but ate rice on the vacation. No, I think you were already ripe for it. But here's one of the things that I think this individual brings up that I think is very good. When you get yourself moving in a high level of detox, and remember McFadden, who killed himself breaking his fast the wrong way, you have to be careful, because this is serious business. You know, it's fun and it feels good and stuff, but this is serious business. There's some very seriously sick people, and this is serious business. You guys are in the most serious business of all, because this is people's lives in your hand. And their happiness and their wellness and their lives they're hoping you can help them, so they kind of trust you, and they trust with what you say and what you do. And that's why I've always felt that those people that work with me, I want them to know everything that I can share, that everything that I can help them to know, because we want to place naturopathy, not naturopathic medicine, naturopathy on the pedestal of natural healing that it is, and that people can learn how we can get people well from some of the most devastating levels. So, this is a good deal. I would be more grateful if you would please shed some light on this. Absolutely. And thanks for the question. But you bring up some good things, you know. Sometimes it's hard on the body to have radical shifts in chemistry, particularly when you're real vulnerable, when you're really inflamed in there and you're shifting radically. Yeah, you could feel that even worse. So you have to be careful with that. This is Levi. Hello, I am planning on ordering some formulas from you guys, but don't know which ones to buy or what quantity. quantity, huh? I switched to a raw, almost 100% fruit and green juice diet. Oh, this is good. Oh, man, this is really good. But still, I'm struggling with low energy. All right, so here, look at this. Now, you're saying you're struggling with low energy, bags under the eyes. So you drew right down here when you said the formulas, you were right on. You're right on. That's, that's what I like about you guys. You're getting smart. Low energy, you're going to almost always go to the adrenals. Thyroid, okay, but the adrenals, that's the nervous system. Thyroid is just how fast you move blood around the body, how fast the rate of metabolism, that sort of thing. And slow you down. But real chronic fatigue is the adrenal glands, big time. And the bags under the eyes, that follows with it, doesn't it? Because that's your kidneys. So here we go, adrenals on top of kidneys, just how you have it here. And that's the formulas you asked. You were right on there. Now, you got to remember the lymph system. So, again, highly recommend the 14-week protocol. If not, then you want to start out at least with one kidney, the Fab Four, one kidney, one lymphatic, one GI tract, and one endocrine gland. Make sense? You're going after your glands, you're going after your GI tract, you're going after your kidneys, and you're going after the lymphatic system. Makes sense? And that's minimal, in my opinion. If you want to get to Wellville, that's kind of the minimal way you want to go. Look for herbs or whatever. Kidneys, clean up the GI tract, get your glands on, and get your lymph moving. Those are the tissues that are directly related to every symptom that medical doctors think is diseases, in every way. But still, I'm struggling with bags under the eyes, apathetic, low energy attitude. Yeah, that's a nervous system. You get down, you just, affects this, affects the eyes. Getting into, all these things about narcolepsy and everything else, where you just, everything just comes down. I think my kidneys, adrenals need help. You are right on, my friend, but I'm unsure which combo of tinctures I need to take. Well, depends how affordability, aggressiveness. Aggressiveness to me is the 14-week protocol we have designed. It's a no-brainer, no thinker. You go boom, boom, boom. If there's anything you have on top that you want to address, you can always add. If not, then you want to start out with the Fab Four. And if you've never dewormed yourself, man, I always recommend buying the first 2-week kit, because it's a dewormer. It's a door opener. So if you can get the first kit, it's a 2-week kit. It opens up the liver, it goes after the bowels, goes after the lymph system, goes after the kidneys and the glands, but it also kills parasites. And that's the thing. If you've never killed parasites, you all need to deworm yourselves, Spend a little time getting the fungus out, too. If you got fungus on the toes and stuff, you're going to have to dig a lot deeper. You're going to have to get your lymph system really moving, because you're saturated with it. But you were right on. You were right on with that. And that's how you want to go down that line, Minimally the Fab Four. And that's after I would deworm myself. But then if you can afford more, I use 2 kidney formulas and 2 lymphatic formulas. It depends, take a picture of your eyes. We've laid up enough information there on the eye there to show you what you're looking for. And then tear it up, man. Tear it up and have fun. Because eating better is always more fun. You feel lighter, you feel happier, more connected, but to all life. It's just the only way to fly. Boy, what was going on last night with a bunch of you guys? Oh my God, I was all over the place. This is Bobby Lee. Hi, Robert. My name's Bobby from Ireland. Irish, we say. Do you know Margie over there? Margie the naturopath, Margie. Good friend of ours. I and others are looking after a girl with cancer at the moment. Whew. It has clogged her lymph nodes. Now, keep in mind here. Now, I want to read this to you. It has clogged her lymph nodes and is in the bones. She has no menstrual cycle, as in chronic pain. So I want to back up here. It has clogged her lymph nodes. When your kidneys stop filtering, slowly, little at a time, what they filter doesn't get filtered, right? Because you're not filtering. So when your kidneys lose their job is to filter the sewage from the body. Not digestive sewage, cellular sewage. I mean, why would you have them anyway? To clean the blood, everything dumps in the blood? Medical doctors should even think better because they know you can't compromise blood pH. How would, just think about dumping lipids, excessive lipids and acids and proteins into the blood, what you could do to the viscosity of the blood. Death would be so much quicker in today's world. So you have to understand God designed the body and the lymph system as a carrier system as well as a sewer system. The blood basically is a carrier system, but the lymph has multiple purposes to it. Incredible system there. And so when that backs up, I like the word instead of clogged lymph nodes, they're backed up lymph nodes. They're only backed up. The lymph nodes are only backed up because of the kidneys. So this is a case where you guys have got to get her kidneys filtering sooner than later. At least 2 kidney formulas. I do a dropper full every 3 hours on the kidney formulas. At least 1 to 2 lymphatic formulas. I would do lymphatic probably 5 in the capsule and maybe 3 or 2 in the lymph nodes. And then shake it up and turn it around. Real strong. You could give her a liver gallbladder formula if you're going to hit her this hard just to protect the liver, because you're going to hit her hard with this. At the same time, this girl should be totally fasting on grapes or grapes and lemons or, fruits and berries, things like this. The bones is the hardest case you got, but you can win that case, but you got to get that lymph filtering through the kidneys because there's no winning them very well if you don't, because there's no cleaning the lymph nodes. There's a path. They're hooked up with pipes. Your lymph nodes are just not hanging out there. They're all hooked up with pipes. Pipes hooks up everything. And these are lymphatic pipes. These are sewer pipes. And they go right to the kidneys and the skin. Now, the fact that she stopped her menstrual cycle tells me that she's either done chemo for this or her pituitary is going down, which means her lymph system is up in her brain, backed up too. But remember, this is a systemic problem. The problem with medicals thinking is they're looking at where the problem is. Instead of looking at the body as a whole, they're looking at it where the problem is. And that's the problem. You got to look at the body as a whole. It's a community of activity and a community of work. And you got to look at it as a whole in that way. So that's definitely pituitary. So she's definitely got a pituitary that's down. Well, that's going to bring every other gland down. So I'd probably do a little, maybe a pituitary glandular 1 a.m., 1 p.m. for 1 bottle and see if you can wake that up. The chronic pain is this. You're not going to. Here's the problem. I wouldn't get her on morphine. Get down as the least painkiller that she can stand, and it's probably going to have a little acetaminophen in it because it just, when you mix acetaminophen with an oxy or something like that, it's not near the narcotic power of morphine, but it takes the pain out better. And that would be a better way to go because morphine sulfate is a killer narcotic. And this is the final way to go out because you don't care anymore. So I'm not really a fan of morphine sulfate at all. I'd rather back them down and find something like an oxycodone or something, or a small amount with a little acetaminophen. This is the new way, but I'll tell you, it takes the pain right out. And I'd rather see a little acetaminophen liver damage as opposed to the morphine, because that can take you right out of this world. But with that said, you can always back it up with the liver gallbladder form. There's ways to back things up while you're working on some things. See what I'm talking about? You're going to want to if she's got to be on narcotics for this kind of thing. One advantage is she hasn't received the battery acid. Yeah! Thank God. That is. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Well, you can imagine she's in chronic pain, and then they give her an acid that's like no other. And what causes pain? Oh, acids. But they want to give her a real hot acid? None of that makes sense, does it? Because it isn't. It's senseless. Yeah, receive battery acid or radiotherapy. Oh, my God. I hope she's smart. Because you know what? Let me say this to you guys. It is better to pass and never go there. Because I'll say this. If you're going to pass, you're going to pass anyway. The chemo and radiation, they tell you it buys you more time. It doesn't. I will say there is a handful out of millions that are going on chemo worldwide, there's only a handful that survive it. 6 out of every 100 survive it. 6 out of every 100. And those are generally your real light cancers. Those are not any aggressive or deeper cancers. Those are generally your light ones. So you got to realize there's no remedy whatsoever with that. And if you want to bet that you're one of the 6%, go ahead. But if you're one of those, we can get you easy. See the difference? If you're one of their 6%, you'd be one of our 95%. See what I'm saying? But, you know, she is on a strong painkiller to keep the pain at bay. Now think about what we're talking about on the painkillers. I put in for a tonic called Cansema Tonic 3. Oh, what is this? From Alpha Omega Labs in Ecuador, along with some Devil's Claw tea. That might be good. And some, I never heard of this, AJOT. I never heard of that one. What is that? I'd like to introduce some of the God's herbs that would you recommend. Some, I'd be honking on this girl so fast like nobody's business. You want to go after those kidneys so fast you can't even see straight. You want to go after those adrenals so fast you can't even see straight. You want to go after that GI tract so fast you can't even see straight. You see what I'm saying? You want to go after her lymph system so fast. You got to get her kidneys filtering. You don't want to mess around with this in her bones because she's all through her. So you want to really get her on a fruit and berry fast and get her up on the 14-week protocol minimally, or have me write her one. Because you're doing some good stuff here, but man, you need to step on that pedal. This is bone cancer. That means she's loaded all the way through. This is a serious case, and you want to go full guns a-blazing. And please, could you give us a brief protocol and fast plan as our money situation is dire? Well, we'll help you. It doesn't. That's not the concern. We have some of you, a couple of you, and one lady's been donating every month. I mean, just we have probably a good $1,000 built up that we can help people with. And so I know we're working with about 4 or 5 already. But listen, we can't let this lady go down. So you either get it with Jen W here, and let's get this lady going, because you got Margie. She's right there in Ireland. There, she's very aware of us and been to our school and everything. She's a naturopath. You might connect with her, but I'm going full guns a-blazing. But remember, you got to get her kidneys filtering, or you're just going to be ringing around the posy and not going to be good. So you got to get her moving, get her going, and really hit this client pretty good with what that. You call here, Bobby, and I'll try to get this up today. I'll see if Jen B can get a hold of you, okay? You think my formulas are expensive? This is a 2-ounce bottle of basically Essiac. I won't put who makes this. But there's a 2-ounce bottle of Essiac. It's not it's probably about a 1-to-6. It's not a 1-to-4. So you got a 1-to-6 tincture and $32. I think it is, or is it 36? $36. Yeah, $36 for this. You have to understand what we're doing for everybody, and how the profits we don't make, because we're way down. We're at 24. We're 1-to-4. Ask an herbalist what the difference in herbs and the cost would be between a 1-to-6 and a 1-to-4. It's a big one. And now we're using, we were using grape alcohol, but as soon as we started using grape alcohol, the manufacturer of grape alcohol just sent the price through the roof on us. They just hit us hard with astronomical prices, so we went to cane sugar alcohol. But it's just a greed. It's just a greed in the way people are out there. So I think we're doing pretty good to keep our prices down as low as we have. It's just that we don't use one bottle. We've got a program, a protocol, because this isn't like a little cold and flu-like symptom. Most of you guys are in some serious crap here, and this isn't like, well, let's just take a little herb here and we'll be okay. These are big deals. And so you guys are right in the mix of a huge deal. You guys are helping people remodel their bodies and their spirituality. You guys are the blessed ones. I just love every one of you. You're so great. And I love traveling and meeting a lot of you on the inner planes, too. I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, this is Dr. Morse. I have just discovered you in my life, and it's perfect timing. I have been diagnosed with MDR-TB, May 14th. Oh, just this year, huh? Since the start of taking these intense poisonous drugs, I have been ill with the severe side effects. Oh my God, man! You know, pharmaceuticals flatly scare. Antibiotics scare me. I have a newfound respect for chemistry, and that happened when I poisoned myself, and I just have a newfound respect for it. And you got to be careful. From 5 different types of antibiotics. They do that in limes too, knowing that it won't ever cure it, but they do it anyway. Hit them hard with the antibiotics. It just throws them into more trouble because it kills all the bacteria that's eating the acids up, and so that makes you in more pain because you now are killing the people that are getting rid of what's causing your pain. I don't know. You know, it's insanity out there. The infection, bacteria, see, that's their problem, first of all. And this is why you're not seeing the remedy as you're doing. You're only witnessing a slow suppression of your lymph system, so the symptomology slowly backs up. But you know, and I can tell you're not there. Okay, all right, the infection bacteria is in my axillary lymph node. Axillary lymph node. Where's this axillary lymph node connected to? Oh, my kidney. It's just right back there, right next door. See what I'm saying? You got kidneys. You know, you get the same problem. You're not filtering, bro. Look at this. Axillary lymph node. I'm not contagious. It isn't about contagious. Your lymph node system's backed up. This is where the bacteria is. These jokers are going to kill your bacteria in your lymph nodes, and now you're really going to have trouble. I mean, this is not good. You know, they don't get it. They kill the messenger every time. But maybe that's the plot. You know, I don't know. As the plot thickens and deepens. Contagion. Besides the discomfort, swelling, sometimes I'm okay. Well, this is the lymph. So you've got to, my friend, get your kidneys filtering and get this lymph system filtering again and get these lymph nodes cleaned out. Can't just take all these antibiotics trying to kill some invader. You know, look at your terrain, your culturing medium. That's where your problem is. And you're saying it right in front of me here, your axillary lymph node. I have now decided to stop taking the provision of drugs as my body cannot cope. No kidding. Furthermore, I'm not totally convinced I have the right diagnosis. Probably not. One of my biopsy samples, not to be mean on their part, because it doesn't matter. You have a swollen lymph node. What's the diagnosis for a swollen lymph node? What immediately does that tell you? That immediately tells you on that side of the body that kidney's not filtering, and it's in your face. And if you don't fix it, tumors is a word that pops up in my mind. Yeah, you're already working on that right now with the swollen lymph node. So back off of there. Get your kidneys filtering. I do 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas. Remember, 1 capsule, 1 tincture. Get on the 14-week protocol. Hit a grape fast now. Get this cleaned out, man. You need to fast. You need to detox yourself. So get up there on a grape and or a fruit and berry diet. You know, fruit, berries, and melons for a few months. Get that out of there, because you don't want to do anything else. This is not, they're killing the very creatures that need to help you, man. One of my biopsy samples, yeah, let's just destroy the lymph nodes. Let's just keep punching holes in them. What are you looking for? And you see they give you 5 antibiotics and yet they haven't worked? Oh, you must have a bad bug, man. This is a bad one. This is going to take you down. Jesus Christ, man. You understand this isn't about bacteria. It's why you don't see them working well. This is about your lymph system, not bacteria. This is about your lymph system. This is about the medium for which bacteria love and rejoice and love to play, because they were sent here to do that. They were sent here to break down the acids. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Let's see. One of my biopsy samples was infected transit with another bug from another patient. Yeah, forget the bugs. Go after your lymph system. They're only after your lymph system too. They're sewage smellers. You know, and you'll be good. I felt I had to take action on my own health. Thanks. I purchased your book. Oh, good man. That's just what you needed to do. I haven't ordered herbs yet, as I'm not sure what to take. Go on the 14-week protocol, man, because this is a serious problem. Maybe more serious than they're trying to tell you, but when your lymph nodes are swollen like that, I mean, men get breast cancer too, but this means it's not probably just axillary, it's all through this one, whichever side you're dealing with. And probably not long in the other kidney will go. You see what I'm saying? So now's the time to fix this up. Go after the system that you're having trouble with, the lymph system, because you're having trouble with a lymph node. See what I'm saying? The trouble's in your lymph system. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I have sourced a natural doctor like yourself based in UK, as I need the support. However, the waiting time is some weeks and I need to start my recovery. Then go now. Call up and talk to the guys here. They'll get you going on it, get you moving on it. Oh, wait a minute. This is a female. Oh, sweetheart, Sarah. This is Sarah. Sarah, get your butt going. Get this lymph node down there, dear one. No. Don't buy into the medical. They're gonna ruin you there with the antibiotics. No. This is your kidneys. Get your kidneys filtering. And here is another reason why you have to. All right. One more last thing. Hormone imbalance. You have polycystic ovaries. That's not a hormone imbalance. That's a lymphatic drainage problem. These cysts are from the lymph system. So you've got it in. You could have a little imbalance. If you do, go after your adrenal glands, because they're going to be where your imbalance is. Now, you could have a pituitary and everything else. I don't know what your case is, but it's enough to say that your adrenal glands is also where you get all your steroids. You get estrogen and progesterone, the same as in the ovaries you have in the adrenal glands. You know, ovarian estrogen and progesterone is for the uterus. Systemic estrogen and progesterone comes out of the adrenals, and then you have a type of estrogen in fat cells and livers. So you've got, you know, the adrenals are a big deal, and so they could be the one out of balance since the kidneys are not filtering. So work on your adrenal, sweetheart. Work on your kidney filtration. This is essential. You want this lymph node down like yesterday, because that's the beginning. And since you're a female, that's working on breasts. That's working on breast tumors and lumps and fibrocystic breasts and everything else. Get this out of there now, sweetheart. Oh, look. And the doctor found on my x-ray a small pocket of fluid right next to my belly button. That's your lymph system. See what I'm saying? Pocket of fluid. This is your lymph system, sweetheart. It's backed up. You got to get moving on this. I guess that's a buildup of acid. That's the system that deals with acids. I'm actually going to hospital today for an ultrasound biopsy on this fluid. Oh, sweetheart, don't waste your time and don't waste your nervous system going in hospitals getting a biopsy and stuff, because they're just going to hurt you. You don't need to keep taking tissue out of lymph nodes, because you're going to damage your lymph nodes, and now you're in trouble with that. You're an easy case. Start right now. Get your kidneys filtering. Get in this whole thing of detoxing. Get on your fruits, your berries, and your melons. Get yourself on an herbal protocol. You can call in here. They'll put you on one. I'll write you one, or just get the 14-week protocol. Don't mess around with this. Get going. Get this lymph node down, Sarah, and you'll be done. And you'll fix something. And if you have any kids, Sarah, you got to look at their kidneys. Start working on your kids' kidneys. And if you don't have any children yet, get yourself fixed before you do. Okay? Because it only makes sense. You want to have a nice baby. You don't have any trouble with them. And that's the problem. We have babies now that are going through pure hell through the allopathic hands. And it's just, I can't even tell you. It's just a mess. It's a huge, huge, huge mess. You guys, you see why I need you as the stabilizing factor? We need you guys, and we all need to stabilize ourselves in a sense of authority, knowing what we're talking about. You guys are helping so many people. And like I said in the last video, some of you are getting some really tough cases, and you're winning them, and you're doing a good job, and you're hanging in there, and you're not letting that tear you down, because it's tough dealing in complicated and tough cases, because people are hurting. So you guys are doing incredible. Don't get discouraged. Hang in there. If you have a tough case, you got a tough case. If someone doesn't want to filter for a while, you're doing everything you can. Don't know what to tell you. In level 2, we're going to be discussing a lot more of these tough cases and what you do with them, you know. But the world is hurting pretty bad. Sarah, you get your butt in gear and get this swollen lymph system out, and you'll quit forming these cysts on your ovaries and in your belly and all this other, because you're going to pop this stuff all over. The next, of course, is tumors, and you don't want to go there. It's just right now you can fix this, Sarah, and you'll be in good shape. And don't let them kill any more lymph nodes or bacterium. I mean, you need those babies. You know, they're not our enemies. This is a chronic cystitis, parasites plus esophagitis. Let me see, this is Ken. Hey, Ken. I am Ken from Belgium, Europe. I am 32 years old. First of all, I want to say I have saw many videos of you and love the fruits and berries. They are good, aren't they? I mean, good fruits and berries, you know? Like, I know it. This year's been the worst year for food I think I've ever seen. I've struggled this whole year to get food. I haven't had any good watermelon. Not even one. I mean, I've had one that was semi-good, but it just hasn't been a good year for good food for some reason here in Florida. I had some good mangoes. The reason why I emailed to you is that I am suffering from some kind of chronic cystitis for 1.5 years. They did a bladder biopsy to see what is wrong. You know what's funny is I've never done a biopsy on anyone. I've never done a vaginal exam. I've never done a million of these different things that medical doctors, invasive stuff they do, and embarrassing things they do, and they still don't know how in the hell to fix anything. You don't need to look. You don't need a piece of tissue. It's easy to understand what's causing all these things, and it's not difficult if the person's ripe and ready to turn them around and get them to Wellville. You know, this tearing of ripping of tissue, so we'll look at it and determine what's wrong with it. That's what the mind has done to man. And if we don't gain our spirituality back, man has got a hell of a road to hoe here. They did a bladder biopsy to see what is wrong, and it showed chronic inflammation mixed with escophiles. No bacteria found. It all started when I had a parasite in my gut for 3 years. The doctors told me always it was IBS, but after Googling it, discovered it was a parasite. Ooh, what kind of parasite? The stool test confirmed it. Back then, I did not know much and took medication to kick the parasite. My IBS resolved, and my bowels are since then much better. You must have had a bad boy. Roundworm, tapeworm. Wow. You know what? You probably ought to go and at least get the first kit. Well, you're going to have to work on your bladder anyway and your kidneys, but you should get that first kit and start deworming yourself now. And I mean actually herbally deworm yourself. And in case you got egg kickbacks and things like this, you probably ought to deworm yourself and see and watch your stools. And, you know, go after that. That's part of the detox anyway, and that's the only way you're going to get rid of interstitial acidosis is detox. And kidneys are the big role in this anyway, and you're right there at the bladder. It's interstitial, whether you're diagnosed with interstitial cystitis or not. It's all interstitial inflammation or acidosis. So go after your kidneys, go on 2 kidney formulas. You can even go every 3 hours, like I said, with a dropper full of kidney formulas or 2 kidney formulas. Go after, at least do 1 lymphatic formula. I'd clean up my GI tract, because you can always get a blowback there, and, you know, just clean all that up. And detox, and you'll get rid of that. you'll fix that right up. But I would deworm myself too, Ken, just to make sure that I'm really clean. But two months later, I woke up with extreme bladder pain, and since then I am suffering. Doctors took my urine and blood stool tests, and they are always negative on things. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You're just not filtering. And get your kidneys filtering, and get, that'll get that bladder to filter, and everybody's filtering. Clean up your lymph nodes, get your bowels, that sort of thing, and you'll pull that out of you. But get up on a good raw diet and then dig into some deeper detox. Then I did a live blood test, and it showed high amounts of systemic candida. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You really need to do a parasitic cleanse on yourself. Is my immune system broken? No, it's just a breeding ground. Everybody's a host. Animals carry worms in them all the time. But it's just, you've just got life going on out there. You've got sewage being produced, byproducts being produced at every turn, and you have to have microbes to deal with byproducts. This is the way we deal with atoms and the rearrangement of atoms. This is how you deal with creation, to have birth, life, and death. You have to have that. So you have to have that creatures involved in breaking things down, chemistry involved in breaking things down. You have to have both sides. You have to have the healing side and the corrosive side. You have to have both of these, which God does. When you look at it, it's incredible. And so you have all these things already worked out and done. We just have to appreciate that and align ourselves with that, instead of listening to these quacko medical thinkers who think that we're all in diseases. Let me get biopsies. We're going to send you through this whole morass of tests and money and all this stuff, and we still don't know. And yet it's so simple. So simple. Remember, you're a closed house in there. You got sewage, you got doorways. Doorways are open for those that need to come in, and then you bring them in on foods. But that's why herbs and some foods are self-parasitic cleansers. Cooked foods, dead animal tissues, these are parasitic foods. You're eating foods that parasites act upon. Cooked foods are dead. Tissue, if you're eating meats, that's all dead tissue. Of course, all parasites want to eat on that. So, yeah, we become a cesspool inside. See what I'm saying? That's why the simple matter of detoxification and the restoration of one's health and dynamicness and vitality. Nothing wrong with your immune system. Does the parasite blood drops all these toxins into the cells and make me sick? No, it makes the blood sick, makes the lymph sick, makes you more acidic, because most wastes are acidic. So you just become more acidic, more inflamed, that sort of thing. Or is my immune system confused and attacks my tissue on the wrong place? No, not at all. The bladder, no, not at all. It isn't your immune system attacking the bladder, but you'll be breaking down your bladder cells if you're not careful, and then you will have your immune cells involved, because you got to have help down there, and damaged cells have to be dealt with through the lymph nodes. Why did they don't find parasites and yeast in my bladder biopsy? Well, it's just a little piece of, your bladder biopsy is just a little piece of interstitial, and you really don't want bacterial interstitial. That's why they're in the lymph nodes. You don't want bacteria interstitial, because that's where the sewage is just now coming out of the cells and heading toward the lymph fluid, the lymph vessels. And the lymph vessels, of course, is the transportation pipes to the lymph nodes. And then from the lymph nodes, more lymph vessels transport to the kidneys. So you just have pipes everywhere that transport either blood or lymph fluids, sewage, or whatever, lipids. It depends where you're at of what these pipes transport. Just like you have carrier systems everywhere. Nothing should be really, everything you see in houses and things you have in your body. Everything. I can't tolerate wormwood, cloves. When you get, then you go to your black walnut hull. That'll kill any decent worm. Nobody likes black walnut hull. No one likes walnut, including worms, fungus, and anything else. So get a black walnut formula. Another thing I have developed is chronic hives. This is your lymph system, honey, or whoever. It's Ken, honey, Ken. This is your lymph system, and you got to get it opened up, man. I believe it's AZN. Allergy reaction from the parasites and yeast in my blood that wants to get out. Many, many thanks. You are my last hope. No, man, listen, you're easy to clean up. You know, get yourself going on a raw food. You know, get up in the fruits, berries, get detox, hit it hard. Get on and get on the herbs. Clean up the kidneys. Get your kidneys filtering. Get yourself on at least Parasite M. I don't think I have wormwood and Parasite M. I might have some cloves. I can't remember. Those are strong, but remember, this is your culturing meeting in your lymph system. Get in there, clean that out, and you'll clean your bladder up. You'll clean all this up. It's the only way I've ever been able to clean up cases like this. And you're not a difficult case to clean up, man. Just get yourself cleaned up, and you'll be good to go that way. Be careful about attacking that which you don't understand. And that's the problem with the medical. They attack that which they don't understand, and they just make things worse. And that's our problem, you know. And just for, again, remember, antibiotics suppress. So if they give enough to you, finally the symptoms will back down, but they'll come roaring back. They'll always come roaring back on you. And that's the problem. They come roaring back. So fix it. Fix it. Fix it. This is a fix-it site. Fix it up. Oh, look at this. This is Kyra, K-I-R-A, Kyra. I love your videos on you. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I get a little out sometimes, you know. It's a long weekend. We had rain 2 days straight. And I'm trying to get out and work in my groves in between the stops of the rain. It was a long weekend. I feel like I'm finally learning the truth about food and health. Thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate that. And I think you are too. You know, but it's simplistic. You know, we've lost the simplicity of things. It's like in this country, this Constitution was simplistically put together by spiritual giants. And it's just so hard. We keep electing intellectuals. And the worst thing you can do in running a country is hiring an intellectual, because they're totally out of touch. They're totally out of touch with the general population. Half these people have no clue what it's like to be poor. So all these things these people are just out of touch. And life is simplistic, and if you run it simplistic, then you don't get the blowback from all the rage that's developing. You keep taking people's freedoms away, and rage will take that place, and then your death will, because you're blocking the freedom of others. You're stopping God from expressing itself. And that's just what the negative forces are doing. And that's people are aligning themselves more with the negative forces than ever before. And some people really get off on it. Good luck. I'm 29-year-old female, almost 30, big 3-0. I have anemia, means you have low adrenal function, which is obvious, and have for most of my life. Please, any advice on how to get my blood levels up, and also have hypothyroidism, but recently stopped taking the medication for that and started a vegan lifestyle. I crave salt. Okay, this is Portland, Oregon. Well, first of all, we'll go backwards. I crave salt means the same thing as I have anemia, meaning you have weak adrenal glands and you're not metabolizing some of your minerals, particularly iron. But that's the adrenal glands. And of course, that's why you crave salt, because your sodium's out of balance and your sodium-potassium pump. So again, there's going back to your kidneys and adrenals again. You know, you'll find these symptoms are close-knit to right where people are having all their problems. So take off after I clean my liver up, you know, maybe clean my spleen, but get my GI tract, get my adrenals up, get my kidneys cleaned up, you know, use a glandular on your adrenals, maybe a 400 if you're real low blood pressure. How low is your blood pressure? Remember, your diastolic bottom number should be 60 to 70. Take that in consideration when you're looking at the top number. If you're looking at 110 over 80, that 80 is 20 points too high. If I take 20 points from the top, that 110 becomes 80. See what, or 90. See what I'm saying? So when you're at 90 over in blood pressure, that's really fatigue. So you have to consider that when you're looking at blood pressure. 120 over 60, textbook. You can have 120 to 130, 60 to 70, you're within a pretty good range. Outside of that range, too low or too high problems. Crave salt. When anybody craves salt, you know immediately their adrenals are down. Immediately you can go to that. And if they're low in iron, adrenal glands. Mineral utilization, their minerals are off because their adrenals are off. But what comes before that? Absorption, and before that, digestion. So all these things are essential in helping people get well. You'd think these things are simple, and they are, but they're vital to health of someone. You first have to digest, you first have to absorb that, and those of you that have, like the guy with the appendix popped, his absorption's got to be way off, because that interstitially in the gut wall has got to be really stagnant and very acidic and inflamed. That's where all the IBSs and all this stuff comes from. But this would be an easy case to fix up there, Karen. Thanks you so much, sweetheart, for calling in here, or writing in here. But get this, get your adrenals up and your kidneys filtering. This will help the anemia. Believe it or not, we're going to the adrenal glands for something you would associate with the liver. Okay, it's hi, Robert. I've stumbled across your YouTube videos and love your passion for health. Oh, thanks. You know, feeling good is everything. You know, when you don't feel good, nobody's happy. You don't feel good. But when you feel really good, you know, and that, you want to feel good to the core of your beingness. So you've got to get your spirituality up. And spirituality, one part of spirituality is, I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. We get too wrapped up in our drama. And we start over-caring and it rips us apart. You have to separate yourself from your dharma, from your drama. You've got to realize that your play is not you. That you can play and still be free and happy and healthy and still play in the field of dreams if that's your gig. But if your gig is to understand and want to know more of the divine, or that which created all things, loosely called God at this level, in Sanskrit we call Sugmad, S-U-G-M-A-D, another name out of ancient Sanskrit works, you know. And they're just different names for the same source. Every culture, every planet has different names for the divine, that which created all things. We're just on one little planet. There's so much life, and everywhere there's all kinds of names for that which is the essence of all things. But it is achievable only when you get yourself outside of looking into creation too much. And that means you have to withdraw your attention from your bodies and just hang out for a while. Enjoy the drama of what you've already created and what you've already put in motion. Let all that start catching up with you. Don't keep creating more. Don't be ahead of your creation. Let me see. I have psoriasis and have tried to heal this naturally through diet and supplementation. Well, psoriasis is not difficult to get rid of. I mean, I've had every level of it, I think I can say, from extreme to where any movement would cause cracking, bleeding, and the flakes would be like frosted flakes everywhere you walked, to whipping cream coming out, pus coming out like whipping cream. But I have to say, this is all tied to the subcutaneous lymph node and kidney part of the body. Skin, kidneys, lymph, this is all part of that system. This is not part of your blood system. And this is showing you have a chronic kidney filtration problem, and you can fix this. You can fix all psoriasis. But I can tell you, I think most of you guys are seeing, especially those of you really putting the pedal down and you're really doing it, I think you're really seeing that this level is the only level you can get yourself well from. Because most of this stuff, I mean, you can get yourself healthier by going to some vegetables and stuff like that, but some of you need some serious detoxing. And when you have a psoriasis case, it's a serious detox case because you're breaking down skin cells, you're just so acidic, your lymph is just so backed up. So, but you can get this opened up. Now, think of saltwater baths, or if you're near the ocean, take some saltwater swims. You know, get yourself some salt water to help with the symptoms and stuff of that. Salt, of course, you can internally do some baking soda, aluminum-free baking soda, an alkalizing treatment. We have that here. You can do in terms of how much, you know, but you can do all kinds of things, but you have to go internally and clean inside of yourself. And that is get your kidneys filtering, get your lymph system cleaned up, get the bowels cleaned out, and you do that with herbs and foods. That's the only two things we have as tools that have any restorative and regenerative, true restorative and regenerative. You can take things like cell food and stuff like that. And you can take this diatomaceous earth, which, boy, I would be very careful about that shit, I'd be real careful about stuff like, the more inorganic, the more stuff is hard like that. I mean, you know, we use that to kill little bugs and stuff. And so, but it's okay, we're bigger. No, it's not okay. You know, we don't have to go to that extreme inorganic, almost petrified stuff, grind it up and send it down. No, it's very unavailable. So, you know, these sort of things. It's your food, your fruits and your berries and your melons and things that are electrical and things that are alive, not things that are dead and hardened and inert. Man's trying to find his health through the dirt. And sorry, it's not there. You know, stimulants, and you can help people with symptoms, but it comes right back when you come off of it. There's no curative value to any of this. After 18 months of transforming my lifestyle, I'm still sick with terrible skin. I spent thousands, it looked like euros, thousands of euros trying to regain health. Well, you don't have to do that. You do not have to spend tons of money. Yes, herbs cost. Yes, it's hard to get well in a world that you have to buy food even. But you can still minimal with the herbs. But your focus, that's why I like botanicals. They're tissue specific. You can take something for the kidneys. Vitamins and minerals, not so much. Yes, certain minerals love certain parts of the body, blah, 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 blah. You never can get well with it. Been there, done that. Let me tell you, don't waste your time. I spun a good year of my life on that, at least a year of my life on that merry-go-round. Forget that. Doesn't work. Go with what works. And I can tell you, you got to dig in with the fruits and the berries and the melons. Get away from your vegetables, dear one. Dig in the fasting. Put yourself on a grape bath. You got some serious digging. This isn't a cold and flu-like symptom. This is when you have not rosacea. When you have psoriasis this bad, you got to dig in. You got some work to do. And you just can't take a few supplements and things like this and think you're going to overcome something this bad. This is a very backed up lymphatic system, and this is high acidosis. This is serious stuff, and you really want to open that up. I'd go on the 14-week protocol if you can afford that. If not, I can write you one, or you can go on the Fab 4, however you want to do it. But you've got to start. And you have to start after your lymph system. That's the adrenals, that's the lymph, that's the kidneys, and that's the GI tract. You want to go into there. Those are the minimal areas you want to go. You want to clean out your liver. And then go on the skin formula. I would go on a liver formula for 2 months and then go into the skin formula on that side. I'd go on 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas on this side. Go on the GI tract, the GI brew. Start really cleaning yourself out like all the other guys is, and you'll have your success here. It's only recent that I've looked into cleaning my lymphatic system out since I found your videos. And those guys that sold you these supplements should have told you that a long time ago and helped save you a lot of trouble and a lot of money. You know, that's the thing that's another reason I'm doing this. Because people are spending money they don't need to, and they don't have the money to spend. And yet they feel like they have to live with their problems. No, no, no. We have a better way. We have the way. Nature's way. Or what I like to call God's way. Just my thing, you know. I no longer want to go this journey both alone and blind. Can you offer any solid advice? You betcha. Oh, you betcha, honey. We're loaded here with that. And we clean the psoriasis up every day of the week. I've never had a psoriasis case that couldn't clean themselves up that was under my care. I don't know. I appreciate you. Get lots of distress calls. You know what, though? That's my job, honey. I was sent here to help you. And so I'm totally happy doing it. I don't need any. I'm totally filled. I don't need anything. I'm here to help you. So be happy to help. But I'm generally in that percentage of people who truly want to begin their health. Well, that's all I care about. I don't like to waste my time if you want to half-ass and you don't want to do it. Why? I mean, go somewhere else. But if you want help, I'm here. We're all here, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Thanks for the phone number. This is Gary Barnes. Gary, I'll be happy to help you, my friend. If you want to, however you want to do it, your choice. You got the 14-week protocol, no-brainer. You don't have to spend any money to talk to me. Get hit it up. There, you get a book with it and everything else with that. You always got to call in here. You got the YouTubes. You can call in and ask questions to the clinic or to the club here, and I'll be happy to help you in every way. Get yourself through this and going on this. Now, you know, and once you go through this and get yourself straightened around, then you'll know exactly how to take care of yourself the rest of your life and other people as well, Gary. So it's a good idea that you're doing that. Basha Banda. Sent from my Sprint tablet. Wow. That's pretty cool. Hi, Doc. Hope all is well on your end. Pretty much. Ups and downs, you know. We're getting ready for level 2. We've expanded level 2, and I've done some. I think you guys are going to really like level 2. This one, we're going to have some fun. Thank God I'm okay. Yeah, me too. You know, there's so many sick people out there. It's sad. We are a little preoccupied with my daughter. She's 15 years old, suffering from digestive issues ever since. Her pediatrician, ever since. Yeah, you know, these babies, you know, we've been talking about, these babies are being born with that, and they just can't handle the formulas. Instead of realizing that, they would rather tie their stomach around their esophagus so they can't throw up and just go ahead and put the crap down them. Oh, I mean, I don't know what level that is. I mean, it's so low. I'm just, these levels freak me out here. Her pediatrician was alarmed with her short stature, lack of maturation, and body weight of 66. She was seen by an endocrinologist who was smart enough to link her symptoms to digestion. She made me see a GI doc who calls her issues Crohn's disease. Crohn's on a 15-year-old, here's what you do. You get me a picture of her eyes, send it to Jen B and tag it, and make note that this is your 15-year-old daughter's eyes. If you don't know how to do that, there's a video up by Jen B to show you how to take a picture with your cell phones of your eyes, and if not, call the club here, ask for Jen B, and have her explain to you and give me her eyes, because you're going to want to look at this. You might also want to get her blood pressure stats for me, see what her blood pressure and blood sugar is if you have any free access to that. But at 15 years old, your daughter's going to have kidney and adrenals. That's a given. With that, though, comes a setup of interstitial lymphatic problems, and that's Crohn's, IBS, but listen, that's absorption problems. She could have pancreatic and liver problems. I'd need to see her case more to let you know, and her eyes will be a big help at taking a look at her gallbladder. That's her lipid digestion. Taking a look at her pancreas. That's her carbohydrate digestion. Taking a look at her stomach, proteins, you know, taking a look at her digestion, but also taking a look at her interstitial parts of her GI tract, absorption, inflammation, that sort of thing. But you want to also go back to her adrenal glands and kidneys, because you have a lymphatic problem. And if it is malabsorption, it's a lymphatic problem. Then you got mineral utilization from the adrenal steroids. That can be low. So there's a lot of things can be down in her. Her pituitary could be down. So this is a case, you guys, when you're working on your kids, let's look at them and get those eyes, and let's really look at your children and fix their weaknesses up here. Because Crohn's pretty intense. That's extreme interstitial acidosis in the gut wall. And it means it also can narrow her gut wall real small. So they don't have a way to tell like we do. So I need her eyes real bad here. Her bloods are totally out of range. Well, send me in her blood work. Send me in her blood work. Send me in a picture of her eyes. Send me in your phone number, and I'll call you. Her stool resulted or something. Positive high inflammatory. Well, of course. Of course. And what are high inflammatory markers? What does that represent? Acidosis. Inflammation, acidosis. Interchangeable words. And nothing good comes about that. That's what this whole site is about, is this very thing. So you can definitely tell her. MRI shows 2 fissures, tracks from the distal ileum, terminating in an inflamed abscess collection. Yeah, you're going to see all kinds. And here's another thing. Also, some wall thickening. Oh, yeah, you're going to see that too. You know, this. Anytime you get acidosis backing up interstitially, it swells up the tissue. It makes it thick. And then it'll make it hard as a rock. These are the things, these are the areas we don't go in. Notice tumors, they stay around too long, they get hard as a rock. We don't like that level of thinking. So this is real important for her to get after this. She's got to go into her GI tract, of course, but she's got to go into the kidneys and lymphatic system. Believe it or not, this is the system she's having trouble with here. A restricted diffusion, decreased peristalsis, and fat disposition. Now, you have to realize the lymph system is where fatty acids are absorbed in, so she's going to be deficient in fatty acids with this, meaning that your pain and her acidosis is going to be going unchecked even more. The decreased peristalsis can be even from the thickening and the swelling from acidosis, but it also can be from her adrenal glands being low blood pressure, low neurotransmitters, low peristalsis. See where we're going with that? So you've got to get in the kidneys and adrenals. You're going to get in the GI tract. You're going to go after the lymph system. You're going to go after this case to win it, not to treat it. Because at 15 years old, you'll make this girl's future hell, pure hell. Because I've done a lot of Crohn's in my life, and some of it is real bad stuff. There is poor visualization of likely small ovaries and hypoplastic uterus for age. All right, so you got a pituitary going on here. And so this case you need to have someone help you with her. This isn't really a YouTube case because this is a much more serious case. You want to get up with some upper circulation and brain and nerve number. Those are 2 things you want: upper circ, brain and nerve. I would definitely get her on the endocrine gland formula because you want to hit all the glands. But I can tell you, if she's slow, she's got a pituitary that's down. That's growth hormones. That's going to affect her height. That's going to affect her menstruation. You might want a thymus thump too. It can affect all the other endocrine glands. This is a case that needs some serious help here. She has been on a total cleanse almost all summer, juicing. Oh, thank God of that. Taking as many colonics. But again, this is interstitial, so colonics ain't going to have any value to that. Get on the GI broom and the stomach and bowel formulas. She's taking lots of herbs, but is currently experiencing pain. Lost weight, nausea. I need to see this case. And a total lack of air. She's probably dropping her adrenals. So, there's no stimulant. She's off of stimulants. But it's a catch-22 because you can't have her on stimulants. So you have to work her out of this level, but not with stimulants. You see what I'm saying? You really need some help with this case. I'm going to just tell you need some help with her. Thank God she is a positive little girl. So that's pretty good. And the energy in the hours is good too. She reads many great books, listens to heart-filling lectures, and sings songs of faith and hope. Is that pretty cute? Well, let's fix her up. You can't let a cute little girl like this get sick bad and have a hell of a life. We can fix her up, and we hope and pray for the best. Well, action. and we can give you the proper action in the correct focused manner in which your daughter needs to go to find remedy. If not, it's this hell road, medical road, unreal. And then resections perhaps, blah, 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 blah. But she just started high school and is not properly functioning through the day. How can we help her get more energy and relieve her symptoms? My extended family and friends all keep telling me that she looks terrible and very depleted. We need to help her ASAP. Looking forward to your reply. Yeah, and I would, as soon as you get this reply, I'll try to get Chris to get this up. And as soon as you get this reply, you get a hold of Jen B. I want blood work, eye pictures, things like that. And let's get your daughter back to Wellville. This is Gregory. Hi, Robert. Hi, Gregory. My middle name is... Oh, that's pretty cute. Gregory Robert. There are no words which can express gratitude for... Oh, thanks, Robert. Appreciate it, Gregory Robert. We are simply... Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. You know what? You know, we're all got our journeys, and this has been my journey. And it's fun, though. It's been fun to help you because doesn't it feel good to eat good? Doesn't it feel good to feel good? And it does. It feels good to be out of pain. It feels good to have a loose body. It doesn't feel good to be stiff and tight. You know, I go through my ups and downs too, but you know, it's all what you eat. And it's the whole 9 yards. Watch all your videos. Holy crap, man! You got balls of steel. Pardon my French, especially one of your last about brain problems. But I'm not sure how would you approach 21-year-old male patient with mental problems. Could be schizophrenia-like symptoms which showed up rapidly over the past 2 to 3 months. However, first signs of depression and withdrawal have been noticed earlier, around 3 years ago. All right, so let's look at this. You know, one of the big things when you're looking at mental disorders, if we can lump that, I just hate that word because, you know, some things are actually chemical process problems as opposed to mental health. You know what I'm saying? It's not the mind, it's actually chemical processes. So, always upper circuit brain and nerve when you have these sort of problems, because the brain and nerve formula, I have everything in there from gotu-kola to skull cap. These are some of the best herbs for the nervous system for strengthening. But wait a minute, we have many parts to this. It's not always neurological. We also have to think of some other avenues. Depression, parathyroid, low calcium utilization, fungus. Too much fungus in the body can lead to depression and unhappiness. Dealing with sugars and low energy. Adrenal glands, for sure, because that's what leads into excessive fungal growth, is incomplete metabolism of sugars. And that's going to take you to the adrenal glands. Low energy, autonomic, big deal there. So, parathyroid, adrenal glands, these glands have to be up functioning properly to feel good. You have to have the parasites out of the body pretty clean to feel good. You know, the liver, the liver's always the seat of anger. When you see someone that's angry, it's always their liver. Get in there, clean out the liver, and get that part cleaned up. So know that. You remember the flower essence, moonshine, yarrow, there's a whole bunch of them. Use the flower essences for this individual because it just makes you feel good and it helps while you're in the process of being well. Would I go after the adrenals? Would I go after upper circuit brain and nerve? Absolutely. Would I be deparasiting the person? Absolutely. I'd get into the kidneys. I would start getting them up and feeling good, touching the higher levels of consciousness and getting all the endocrine glands up, the thyroid, the parathyroid, the I love myself glands, and working on those. And that'll help pull this individual out of this problem. When you see things starting to build like that rapidly, then you know chemistry's involved in this. And that it's a type of chemistry that's multiplying. Well, you have to look around to see if you're involved in neurotoxins around your house or any toxicity like that. You have to rule all those out in your car, wherever. You have to look around and see in your place of work. You have to look all around to see if you're breathing something or that you're ingesting chemistry that's rapidly breaking you down. That's number one. Number two, you know that acids are the side of chemistry that plays that role the best. So you know that the potential of this, of course, being the lymph system is quite high, right? So you know that things that are manifesting in a faster manner means that your lymph system is probably breaking down the endocrine glands faster and faster and faster, swelling up tissue, depressing tissue, things like that. As you can imagine, in such cases, cooperation with the patient is rather difficult. Well, that's the number one problem. That's the number one problem that we have, is compliance and working with those people. And this is also true, I hate to say, with dementia and Alzheimer's, because they can't remember. And I have a lot of Alzheimer's clients that without family intervention, it's really tough. And then even with family intervention, the level of Alzheimer's can get real bad. And it's like, oh God, it's getting compliant with that. I would suggest brain and nerve formula on top of fruits, and I'm wondering what would you add to that, especially with regards to cooperation with patients. Greg, much love to you, my friend. Slap them around, tie them to a chair, and force feed them. Or put a feeding tube in them. I don't know. This is part of the problem in the catch-22s, because you're only responsible for yourself. And it's not an ego thing and not a selfish thing, but trying to get into another person's journey and changing it and affecting it. Karmic maybe sometimes, and difficult. That person has to say, here, help me. You want to make sure that person's kind of knocking on the door, unless you drop some Johnny Appleseed stuff, but you want to make sure that person is knocking on your door and asking for help, and really needs it, because I'll tell you, some of these mental cases that have these bipolar, schizophrenia, can be fixed up so easy, but hard to get compliance. So really tough. I don't know. I've worked on so many cases. I don't have time to go over them right now. But you can only go so far with some people. It's just some people. I think I told you that the dentist's son who loved to eat out of trash cans and sleep on park benches. And, we got him healthy and happy and got him out of bipolar and everything else. But he loved to eat out of trash cans. And I said, I'm done. I can't get you any better than I've got you. See ya. Because that's it. You can only take a person so far, and then don't tear yourself apart with this. You can only help people so far. You can only give the love and so much. Divine love you will always have from me. Always. Hi, Doc. Limoge. I wish I could pronounce that. Hope all is well on your end. I hope so too, my friend. But thanks a lot for asking. I hope it's good on your end too, man. Thank God I'm okay. Yeah, thank God. I mean, there's so many. We are a little preoccupied with this is the 15th, this same one. Yeah. All right, so I got that one down already. I tell you, when I see some of you guys suffering the way you do, I feel the same way. Thank God. I feel for every one of you. And I want you to know that I'll always be here for you. And I'll always be on the inner for you too. So work on your spirituality as well. That's another fun thing too. This is fun times. And no matter what's going on in the world right now, they're making their own beds. We're making our own bed, aren't we? So we're creating our own worlds. And most of the people on planet Earth is going to want a part of that world when they see how happy and how healthy people can get. This one is, hi all, do you have any videos on how to improve male sperm count? I was just told mine was low and came as a shock. You might want some low sperm count. I don't know. I sure wouldn't mind some low. But it's always the reason for it that gets you. Well, first of all, I would see what my PSAs are. And if you're a young lad and they're low, I would suggest that probably you have kidney problems and are low testosterone problems. So I would get my adrenals up, I'd get my kidneys filtering, get my lymph system moving. Because when you start seeing low counts, you start seeing suppression and inflammation and things like this. And it'll also hyperstimulate. You also have that. You know, it's funny. Chemistry can hyperstimulate, but it also can make things hypo. In the end, remember, everything goes hypo. So just because acids are always breaking things down doesn't mean in a hyper state. Like hyperthyroidism, acids isn't involved, because that's wrong. They are involved. So again, it's all about pH variances and, you know, levels and all this sort of thing. But I don't have a lot of time left. Did I answer all of that one? Oh, not totally. I'd get on the male reproductive formula too. That's going to help you to use these male reproductive herbs. Mine is not as hot anymore because I can't risk it with people with prostatitis having hot herbs. It's just not the way they work. You could do some ginseng. You can get yourself some good ginseng root. Takes a while, but it's a tonic. I can tell you this, our gland tonic would be the place to go. Real powerful tonics there for the body and the glands, including the testicles. So just real good tonic in that way. So I would take the gland tonic. You only need one or two or three times a day, you know, and start building your strength up, getting the inflammation out of your lower burner, getting your kidneys filtering, and, you know, cleaning up the bowels and all that. Believe that, everything is interconnected. And by getting the whole body healthy that way, everything goes up. Sperm count goes up, testosterone goes up. But if you try to take testosterone, now you guys get the picture of what all these guys are going to have trouble with. I feel sorry for the men and all they're going to have trouble with. Oh, there's so many. I'd love to just sit here and read these all day long. You know, I'd love to have. I had a radio show years ago, several years, and these would have been fun to read on the radio show. You know, I had a radio station from New York, New Jersey area call me, and they said, we'd like you to do a show up here. We've got 5 million, 7 million listening people, and I said, well, how did you know about me down here? And they said, well, when you started doing your radio show, your station's ratings went out the roof. And it was all because of your show. So they wanted me to do that. And I said, how do you do that? Remote. So we were going to do a remote show, but you know, it's redundant, and finding new guests and dealing with it every day or every week, depending on your show you've got. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to do those shows for me. I've done them for so many years. Hi, Robert. I'm a 27-year-old woman living in Sweden. For the past 10 years, I have been having an anal fissure. It never fully heals. I tried every possible natural, but the fissure keeps on tearing. Do you have any advice about how to heal the tissue in the anus once and for all? I would use a little Heal-All salve. We got a little Heal-All salve there. Now, there's a little drawing power to that salve, so you could have that little plantain irritate just a little bit, or you could get some, but it'll still heal it. You also could get some comfrey and golden seal salve and insert up in there. Reality is lower circulation, and I want you to check your parathyroid gland. Why parathyroid, right? Weakness in vascular wall. So I want you to check your parathyroid. You could go on a bottle of parathyroid or 2 bottles of parathyroid. I would be doing them at 1-3 times a day. I would take it with the Bones formula because that closes off connective tissue and heals that. Also, I do a little, like you say, comfrey, golden seal, or Heal-All salve or something up in there, and let that absorb in there and do some healing. At the same time, I'm going to start strengthening my vascular system, and at the same time, I'm going to start cleaning out my GI tract. I'm going to get my kidneys filtering, and I'm going to bring my adrenals up. And that'll clean that fissure right up. It'll heal that really nice. It'll strengthen your wall there really nice, and you'll be in good shape. But you know, it could take you a little while to do that. Get yourself on your fruits, your berries, and your melons, maybe a salad a day, that sort of thing. And I have been suffering from candida, where you use the parasite in, but move your lymph. You know, you got to clean the lymph and clean that. I have an infection each month despite cutting out sugar and flour. You can't cut out sugar and get rid of. That has nothing to do because you have carbohydrates and proteins. You know, you have carbohydrates almost in every food. Every food has a little of everything, and that's not the problem. The problem is your metabolism of carbohydrates, that is your adrenal glands, or too much sugar in terms of starch. And most people can't metabolize complex sugars, so they end up getting fungus to help them. You know, fungus is just part of the fermentation family. But detox cleans all this up. Now, I would douche with the Heal-All tea. You want to douche for 2 weeks every night with the Heal-All tea. That'll clean that vaginal wall. But remember, get your kidneys filtering, sweetheart, and pull this lymph. But you want to start douching with that. That's why I created the Heal-All tea. That'll help clean that area too. This is just your lymph system backed up all through you. It sounds like you have fungal infection all through you as well. It's just the nature of beast. Clean that out and you'll be okay there. What is your fastest and best way to heal candida in the vaginal area? Again, douching. Douching. You can use some salve if you got it on the outer. I cannot handle these infections anymore. Yeah, it's the only way to do that. Get on Parasite M and live on it for about 3 months. Definitely going to help you out with that. But again, do all these things. It'll help pull yourself into balance. But you're in Sweden, and they've signed up with the Codex, so we can't get herbs to you unless you find a way to do that. I don't consume meat, milk, or flour. Now, I wouldn't either, dear one. My last question is, what is the best effective way to eliminate herpes from your body? Detox. And I just did a video on herpes, so go back on the last video or the video before that one, and I talk about the herpes and how to get this out of you. Real important to get that out of you. Thank you for your answers. I hope and pray that your knowledge can heal me. So, oh, it will. Seen it a lot, Anna. Seen it a lot. This is common stuff. But parathyroid, take a look at that. Pop that up a little bit with the Bones formula. That'll help strengthen connective tissue around the body, lower circulation, definitely on the vascular walls. The nice thing about the fruits and the berries and the salads and stuff is flavonoids, real strengthening to the vascular wall. But with that said, clean up your body. Cleaning is strengthening. You notice that? Cleaning is strengthening. Acids weaken and inflame and swell. Base chemistry, healing is firm, strong, powerful. All the stuff you want. Thanks, Anna. Appreciate that. And I have to run, guys, and I just barely cracked the surface. But I do appreciate all these questions. These are some real good questions you guys have got coming here. And I see a whole bunch of suffering people. And we need a lot of practitioners in this world. So each and every one of you think about being one. Because it's a lot of fun to help others get well. You don't have to have a label. You know, this whole idea. There's been a lot of naturopaths that were intimidated. And a lot of people, chiropractors, intimidated by medical doctors. Intimidated by what? Ridiculous knowledge that takes them nowhere but Hellville? You know, don't be intimidated by any of that. Let God be your light, and you be the light that shines on the path. You know? Each soul, remember, each one of you is simply the eye of God and experiencing for God. I mean, each soul, to me, is the eye of God, looking through a mind and emotions and enjoying a journey. And how many souls do you think God created? Endlessly creating, endlessly experiencing, and yet never being affected. You know, learn the now, learn what all that's about, and learn that you are the eye of the tiger. The big tiger. Well, I love you guys. Got to run. I'm glad we got this in here. But you have a fun day. Go after your health, guys. Never be afraid. And go after your kids' health. Man, I'm telling you. But for those that I've said, send in the Gupa that we need so I can help you further on this. And we'll get down on the road to Wellville. And then next time, next journey. Keep traveling in those dream states, guys. A lot of neat stuff going on there. And love you guys. Bye-bye now. I tell you, it's every day, you know, we're steeped in people suffering and sad cases and stuff like that. But you know what? We're also seeing the other side of all these cases of getting their life back and getting their wellness back. And that's so exciting. So you have both sides, you know, the duality of creation, so to speak. So I'm going to continue on, even though this is going to be a separate video. I've had another no-show, which is good for us, and that gives us time to shoot videos. I've got a vacation coming up just before class, and I'm going to take it and come in here and just sit there and just try to catch up on you guys. You guys are too good. Too good. All right, this is from George. Hi, Dr. Morse. I watch your YouTube videos up here in Winnipeg, Canada. Yeah. Sometimes in my car while on it. Wow. Thanks there, George. On my break, it gets to be minus 30s. I know. Oh, my God. In the winter. I know I must be nuts. One day, God willing, I will move south. I highly recommend it. I appreciate your no-nonsense passion, and you're one of a few health advocates who doesn't promote powders and pills. Notice you don't get pop-ups, too, especially in plastic bottles or any flavor of the month gimmick. Yeah, you know what? It makes you sick out there. When I first got into this, I was so excited. You know, you don't really think about all that, but you've got so many people that are recommending things that are way out of balance. And I always wonder, you know, there's so many good folk remedies that are true, that have, you know, you can have multiple things help you. But you only really have one road of curing, where you actually get a remedy. But there's plenty of roads of symptom treating stuff. There's all kinds, the apple cider vinegar trick, and all these things that people do. But you guys are studying the highest level. I've been through those levels plenty years. Know them. So if I can save you time, and even though some of you this is new to, sometimes, and we're talking about that in the last video, sometimes when you're new to something, you haven't been down the road of using the things that don't work because you're new to this. And I can tell you, some of us have been down long roads of things that don't work. And I'm one of those no-nonsense guys. You hit it right on the head, George. I don't. I deal with truth. If you don't want to deal with truth, then leave me alone, because you're going to get it down your throat. Because truth is truth, and this planet has a severe lack of facing the truth, and so it needs to happen. And so, in that way. But there's so many things. And even with herbs, one herb has 10 different values to it. There's 10 different actions and indications probably for one herb. So for some it is confusing, but keep it simple. As complex as the medical doctors want you to think that diseases and all your pain and suffering is, that's a pure hype job. It's all quite simplistic. Very simplistic. Remember, what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, what you put on your skin. This is the world. This is truly the most chemical world God has. And all I got to tell you is chemistry can hurt. And that's just what we're up against. And you just have to learn. You only have two sides of chemistry to learn about. And you only have really two major systems in the body that take care of the health of the cells. And those are the two major fluids of the human body, the blood and the lymphatic fluids. And the more we learn about the lymphatic fluids, the more respect and honor I give that system. Because that's the system of all man's suffering, all the pain, all the swellings, all the skin problems, all the cancers. This is the system. But it would be because it's a system that has to deal with the acid side or corrosive side of chemistry. So your lymphatic system wears a heavy burden. And those sweet little kidneys of yours wears a heavy burden. And that is to move these cellular wastes out of your body. Your skin wears a heavy burden. Because this is the side of chemistry that is the owie side, the at hurt side. And your body has to deal with that. To survive, it has two factions to deal with. And if medical thinking still rests man in alkalosis, and this is the problem with biochemistry, they just, until they understand and learn more and understand they're working with wrong theories, they're never going to change. They'll always be the top killing modality out there. And there's just no excuse for that, because health is simplistic. Might be difficult to work yourself back out of some of these extreme dark places that some of you are in, and these genetics are so on top of us that some of this seems dark worlds. But you can come out of those dark worlds into the light. I want you to remember that. And you're totally the one that can do that. You have total control in your life. Don't think you don't. You only allow that which you allow to take place against you and in your life. So you only allow a medical doctor to get away with whatever you allow him to get away with. Remember, I told you the head of the AMA has a little way to look at this. And his way of looking at this for the layperson is let buyer, not patient, let buyer beware. Made that statement to 60 Minutes. Let buyer beware. So they see, the AMA sees each and every one of you as money, as buyers, as shoppers. And if you buy, just like this psychiatrist or psychologist wrote me, and he was telling me, has the same philosophy I do. I thought it was pretty cool. And it's just right on there. They send you a sales pitch. You have this disease. You accept it. You accept the treatment for that. Okay. You accepted that. And a lot of people accept it. Oh, I've got cancer. Okay. This is mine now. Don't claim anything. What you claim is yours. So don't claim it. Say, you know what? I understand what that is. My lymph system's backed up. My kidneys are not filtering. My acids from my cells are burning back on me. And I've got to fix that. And I can fix that. The health world has way too many of them snake oil salesmen, and that's so true. And you'll never see another thing here, and that is an MLM. I'll never do MLMs, multi-level marketing. You know who gets screwed on that one? You do. If you're lucky to get in near the top, you're going to make some good money, but life isn't about the money. Money's just the way you have shelter and food. Yes, important. But you can't make your life about that. Even if you don't have it, you don't make your life about it. It just doesn't matter. That's not what life's about, And so there's just a lot of people out there trying to make money off of people. And these MLMs, especially on these noni juices and all this stuff, you get 10% juice in the whole thing to begin with. And then the fraction of that 10% is actually noni or sea or whatever berry. In other words, you get nothing for $30-something. It's kind of like this formula I was showing you on the last video. $36 just because it's Essiac and just because of where this particular one came from. And it's like, you know what? No offense to anybody out there, but there's rip-off and then there's rip-off. And I'm not about ripping off. This isn't the time to rip off everybody. Everybody don't have any money or anything. You don't rip people off. You get back that which you give. Remember that. You rip someone off, just watch. You're going to get ripped off yourself. You just got to realize these natural laws of God are in place, and respect them, because they're going to kick your butt if you're not careful. You only have yourself to blame when things go wrong. We blame other people, but wah. I love the fact you mentioned we are frugivores. I agree 100%. Oh, we're fixing this up. Good. Remember we showed you this from some of you good guys out there. I love this. Well, we've made one up that deals with the hands and the paws. And the fang, not the fangs, but the paws, the hands, the whole 9 yards, the hooves, the whatever you call the chicken's feet, all that sort of thing. We're doing one up on that. We're going to do it just to show you how, and I want to put this in my next book because just more to show you that we are believing in things that nuts are coming up with that we should. That's the problem with the mind. Too much mental instead of actualities. Actualities is key. And like a high-protein diet, that's not an actuality. There's nowhere that you see proof that that's a good diet. There's nowhere. There's no evidence. There's no evidence anywhere. It's just medical thinking. Yet, when you go on a high-protein diet, those are the people you visit a lot. Bad stuff. I'm a medical doctor. He sends all his cancer people to me. The problem is he's a natural health medical doctor. But first he puts them on and I don't know why. He's been to plenty of my lectures. He puts them on a high-protein diet. He puts them on some supplements and stuff, of course. And when their cancer markers go soaring, he sends and says, you got to go see this guy right now. Well, keep him up. Why send him to me? Why don't you learn how to cure cancer? You're a medical doctor. You're doing good with everywhere else. But I don't know what it is, you know. We don't treat cancers. He shouldn't treat cancers. You know, don't look at it that way. Be responsible for changing the consciousness to truth on this planet, and medical or whoever you are. If you don't mind answering some questions, I would appreciate it, and maybe someone else who's going through something similar might benefit as well. Well, that's what I'm hoping, George, with a lot of these, is that the ones I can't get to have similar problems, but I don't care what you have. I don't care how mutated your body looks. You get yourself 100% raw. You move yourself up into more of 100% fruits, berries, and melons. You start getting some herbs to clean the kidneys, to get them filtering, to get your glands up, get your bowels cleaned out, and there's nothing you can't rewind, redo, regenerate, and rebuild. Might take you a while in some cases, but come on. If a spinal bifida case born without L4 and L5, which is the kidney vertebrae, can after 2 years of working on herself have grown vertebrae that wasn't even there at birth, what does that tell you? You see the power of that? You see a quad up there, many videos back, how he regenerated his bone, his skeletal system, beyond belief. I mean, these were old-healed fractures that bit his legs out of shape and everything, and his body literally pulled itself straight. No chiropractor, nobody. It pulled itself straight. I mean, when you see a few of these high-end cures and healings, it blows your mind. It blows your mind. It reaffirms your feet are on the right path to Wellville and beyond, because these guys are regenerating old genetics. They're regenerating old injuries that healed out of shape. The body's totally realigning, regenerating, redoing itself. Amazing. So just know you're on that road. You're on that road. And keep the sidebars up a little bit, because there's all kinds of people, snake salesmen, just like you said, George, that wants to pull you over. Take digestive enzymes. Take colostrum. That'll make your tumors grow. Take all these things like this, and it's like, no, no, no. Common sense. Stop and think. You know, whenever someone interests you, do stop and think. Does nature make it better than man? But of course, and every time. You know, it's no insult there. Man should never be insulted to think that God does it better. And he's got to understand who he is in this context anyway. Well, over the last 3 years, I work in a stressful job, on call 24/7. Now, that right there is enough to keep your adrenal glands humming with epinephrines, but not with dopamines, meaning that your elimination would be severely affected. I drive for a living. Oh, my God. I drive for a living and carry lots of freight as well. Oh, my God. You got to watch your prostate. You sit right down on your prostate and everything else. Sometimes I work up to 12 to 15 hours a day, both day and night shift. My God, I've got a lot of truckers. You know, we got many clients that are truckers. And a world of prostate, lower back, kidney, of course. Normally 6 days a week, man. You're a working crazy man. What's going on there, man? I don't drink coffee, but do use a yerba mate drink for preparation. Well, that's smart. I feel I need to stay alert driving for me and others. You do. My beverage of choice is distilled water, but in plastic bottles. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You can't do distilled water in plastic. I mean, you can taste the polycarbons. No, you can't do that in plastic, man. You got to do it in glass. And you can't buy it in plastic and put it in glass, because you can already taste it when you get it from the store. So I'd have a high mineral water where you're not leaching. If you're going to do water in plastic, you want a high mineralized water. You'll have the less leaching. Remember how osmosis is? You know, the most dense leaches into the less dense. You know, it's how cells and all that work. So that's where you have to look how the particles move and fluctuate between densities and stuff. Absolutely. I am vegan, but while traveling a lot, I have eaten a lot of processed foods, lots of junk many times because not much is open when I get to the hotels. There lies the problem. So you're going to have to keep a lot of fruits around you, you know, of course. I mean, I was involved in a work-related injury when someone, a passenger, tried to strangle me. What? For no reason, and he was an escaped mental patient. Oh, you must be a bus driver on a city bus or a Greyhound or something. Look at that crap. Guy tried to choke you. You know, there's some, this is really an insane planet. I tell you, this is really crazy. You poor guy. I had some trust factors in the beginning and flashbacks, but they have been gone for a while now. Yeah, you just have to remember, everybody, you're on a warring planet. Keep your awareness up. Because you just have to be always aware. You ladies, the same way. Never stop and park by a van. Never get in your car when a van's parked by yours. You know, all those sort of things. You have to learn survival skills on the planet because it's just, there's some gnarly souls out there that clicking up the karma. So I have injuries to my neck and mainly up and down my back. Geez, you must eat, God, look at that. After about 7 weeks of no meds, which I have not taken in over 20 years, I felt better, but only about 70%. My main meal at night would be some cooked rice or cooked sprouted rice with cayenne, or Himalayan sea salt, turmeric, and nutritional yeast with some tomatoes, arugula when fresh. Well, I get rid of the nutritional yeast. I sold a lot. I sold pounds and pounds and pounds of that years ago in my health food stores. But ditch the nutritional yeast. People got enough fungal problems. Get rid of the yeast. You don't need that. You got plenty of B vitamins and everything. You don't need to deal with nutritional yeast. No yeast. That's what I don't like about Richard Schultz's superfood blend. Even though he considers it dead, still dead is. I don't know what to say. I am 6'4" and weigh about 154. Man, you're skinny bean. That means you're probably malabsorbed. And how'd you get 6'4"? Had to be pituitary. So you want to look at those sort of things. I have been thin most of my life and have not been ill for over 20 years as a vegan. Very high fruits. Oh, good man. When I can, but cooked starches with very little, because you probably have a lot of fungus in you. Probably why you like cooked starches. With very little vegan protein, it does not agree with me. The problem I have with my job is while driving, eating fruits stimulates the bowels, and don't always have an opportunity to pull over if I need to. Yeah, that would be a little bit of a problem. Well, just hook yourself in, turn your chair into a little potty thing, and I know. Everything has its extenuating circumstances, doesn't it? What do you do when you're on the road when it comes to raw foods and quality food supplies? That's a good question. That's why I don't travel much. That's why I don't like to fly overseas much. I tell you, because you can't eat right. Your body just starts going down. You feel it. All the stress. It's like, holy man. And we can talk to each other pretty close right here. You know what? I look for all the salad bars. I look for all the salad bars where I can pick and choose. That's the only thing I have to look for. I don't look for meat places. I look for salad bars. It's the best I can do. You know, I carry what I can, but you're on a trip. You like to have fun, maybe cheat a little here and there, but I want to do it on a salad bar. I don't want to do it with meats or anything like that, but I want good salads. And, I mean, forget the idea of stopping in a restaurant and having a tremendous fruit bowl, because that's not going to happen. I quit ordering fruit bowls years ago because everything was hard as a rock, and that's not the way to go either. So it's tough, no question, tough out there to survive on this planet. Will the yerba mate screw up my adrenals? And I wouldn't think so. I mean, a little stimulation with yerba mate, but you know, I would be on something for my adrenals and kidneys, and watch my prostate. You know, that's the kidneys again. Make sure you're filtering. Do your very best. Stop at salad bars. I don't know, you sound like a bus taking people, like a Greyhound bus, not like a Freightliner. Because you get some, I don't love restaurants or truck stops. Some of them have salad bars. Some of them are home cooking. They got salad bars and homemade vegetables, but I don't know. I don't stop at, truck stops that way to eat or anything. I've got a big fifth wheel, and I do look for diesel. What do you do when you're on the... Oh, yeah. While on this fruit diet, I feel great but lost some more weight. Do I just need to increase my calorie consumption? I love fresh dates, grapes, melons, berries, and bananas. I'd eat the holy heck out of them, but I think, you know, with this, you get a big suggestion that you're malabsorbed a little bit. When you're 6'4", weighing 145, is that what it was? My God, man, that's too skinny. And I think that's malabsorption. You know, I think you would have to look at that. You might see that you had pituitary problems and now things are going hypo on you. I don't know. You have to take a look at your case there. But you'll never put on a lot of weight with a fruit diet. But still, with better absorption, you should see your muscles coming back and things like this. I do thank you for your time. Oh, you got my time. You tell you what, we sure need some healthy, vital people to do. You're right, man. Any other suggestions to make my life optimal would be great. Keep up your... Oh, thanks. Thank you, George. P.S. You remind me of one of the actors in Get Shorty, my mom's partner, and someone else. Thanks, George. I appreciate it, bro. Well, it's tough out there on the road. There's no question about it. That's why you almost have to take as much as you can with you. But it's tough. Like I say, I look for salad bars and places like that because those restaurants... Now, I wish sweet tomatoes was at every truck stop. You know, you could get sweet tomatoes. I think in California it's soup and salad or something. Down here we call sweet tomatoes. And, you know, big salad bar. I don't know how much they wash their veggies, but they have homemade soups and stuff like that. But most of them, you know, aren't the level of natural that you'd want. You know, so it's hard to eat there with just this. But the salads are good. Let me see here. This is Kristen. Hello. I was wondering if you have ever successfully healed someone with Addison's disease. A lot of people have Addison's disease, honey. I have had this disease for 4 years. I've had other autoimmune diseases. Now, remember, it sounds like you haven't missed many of these videos, but first of all, please never buy into the autoimmune ridiculousness. Because that automatically, when someone says you have an autoimmune problem, immediately you know they don't have the first clue to what causes your problem, and that the autoimmune is the safest place to be for medical doctors. Because your body's the one having the problem. We don't know what it is, but your body's having that problem. Your immune system's all screwed up. That sort of thing. And that goes for just about everything, from diabetes to cancers to everything. Inflammatory, autoimmune, that sort of thing. Well, we know why, don't we? Exactly. We all know why. So things aren't autoimmune. As well as Hashimoto's, you have vitiligo and POX. She's got the polycystic ovarian syndrome. Well, what does all that tell you right now? You got kidney and adrenals down. Therefore, you're not filtering your lymphatic system. And so you're seeing this all over the place. You're popping cysts on your ovaries. Your thyroid is down. Your kidneys are down. I know they're all interrelated. You're right, sweetheart. They're all interrelated. And they're all interrelated through a lot of systems. But you realize everything is related neurologically, blood, and lymph. So everything's really kind of tied in that way. And so the lymph is the one that really goes down. Now, vitiligo, this is something that's pituitary right off. So we know your lymph system's backed up all in your head already and that your pituitary is going down. You need to turn this around. Get in that body, get your kidneys filtering, get your lymph moving, get your bowels. You got to clean up your bowels. You want to get your sinuses drained, your head drained. You want to clean yourself up here, honey. Get your your pituitary up and running. This was brought back. Wait a minute. I know they're all interrelated, and I have been eating a paleo-type diet for a few years now. This has brought back color to some of my vitiligo patches, and it has lessened the pain of POTS. Also, losing my excess weight when I had gained in my 2 pregnancies from 09 and 11. I truly believe I can heal my body complete and get off all these dreadful medications. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I don't know what you're on, but no medications, honey. No. I'm curious if you know of any doctor who has successfully reversed Addison's specifically. Absolutely. Every time. But you've got other things you got to look at here. You've got a pituitary going down here, and you've got to deal with this vitiligo as well. And you've got to get your kidneys filtering and the paleo, you got to dump the proteins to do this. You got to dump the proteins to do this. Get in and detoxify a little bit, sweetheart. But focus on that pituitary. If you're going to talk the pituitary, I would go after that with just 1 bottle of pituitary glandular from New Zealand. I do 1 a.m., 1 p.m. That's it. One BID. Also, make sure you get your kidneys filtering because these ovarian cysts. No. What else here? No, that's what I would do and get rid of all this. Hashimoto's, all that's not difficult. You get yourself on a thyroid glandular and go up with that. Sounds like that you're already on maybe something for the thyroid. So review some of these other videos because I talk about how you get off of that, but it's really easy with glandulars. You know, you just take a thyroid glandular, which will pop up the whole thyroid, where if you're on Synthroid or levothyroxine or natural T4 armor or whatever, all 3 of those will weaken your thyroid. So you want to use a glandular to pop up your thyroid, get off of these synthetic craps, hormones and stuff, and rebuild and clean your body out. Get your head cleaned up and all that, your kidneys working, and you'll be good. But get off that paleo diet. There's nothing healthy comes about eating dead animals. I don't care what. They can be grass-fed and daily have a daily enemas and rub down as nice as you want. Hi, I'm planning to begin a 2-week cleanse tomorrow. Ooh, when was this up here? Oh, this is September 15th. Recommended by and as per my acupuncturist instructions. I will be taking your kidney and bladder tincture mixed with 2 others, endocrine balance and lymphatic system tonic. 1 dropper full 3 times a day. I was told I might not feel so good at first and to do not take vitamins at this time as they would likely just get eliminated. Is this true? Well, first of all, you don't even need to take them because, of course, one of the problems is if you've taken a lot of antibiotics, you've killed your vitamin makers. Who's the vitamin makers in your body? Bacterium, huh? We get a lot of vitamins through microbes. People don't talk about that. You get a lot of goodies. They give back. Nature gives back. But we don't think in those terms because we're so infatuated medically and with the mind and with the concept of diseases that we've gotten ourselves all mixed up. We don't know what the goodness and the beauty of nature and life is. We've just gotten too tangled up in the mind. But absolutely, I don't recommend any vitamins and particularly no minerals. And with the vitamins, particularly oils. And I want to be careful about too many oils. But your acupuncturist was right. I have a good friend that's an acupuncturist. She had come to us with a little bit of a goiter, and I think a lot of you know her, Roseanne Calabrese, Dr. Calabrese. She was just over here sitting with me. I think you met her on the last video. I am fairly thin and also see fairly thin. When someone's too thin, you got to look at malabsorption or digestive problems. We want to look at that. And also quite low bone density, need calcium. Think of parathyroid gland. Not taking calcium because here we go. Here's the difference. If you're losing structure, connective tissue, things are sagging, you're bruising, you're depressed, your bones, you had a bone density test, you're losing bones. First of all of that happens in an acidic medium. So you have to change that. That's obvious, common sense, and the first thing. You must change your consumption, and you must start hydrating your body interstitially and returning your body to a base balance where you're filtering your acids out. And now true high-level regeneration can really begin. Then you're going to look at the tissues that's going to help the body where it needs help at. And when it comes to bones and things like that, you're going to the parathyroid and thyroid gland. You're going to make those two healthy. But you can take a parathyroid glandular with a bones formula and really do some good strengthening of the connective tissue and stuff like this. So absolutely. I am fairly thin. Let me see, go on. I live at a retreat center and generally eat what is prepared, which is mostly healthy. Oh, that's good, relative to most people. But vegetarian, I've been vegetarian for 25 years. I do not assimilate nutrients as well as I should. No kidding. When you're thin, that's right off. So you want to look at digestion and absorption. Both are lymphatic problems, but you want to look at the pancreas and the liver specifically for your digestion. You're going to look at the small bowel for absorption, but that's going to be your lymph system for sure. Trying to take whole food bites now. You know, why take that when you can eat your whole foods? And if you feel like you're deficient, get yourself a superfood blend. We have 2 of them. Superfood blend number 1 and number 2. Number 2 is, to me, stronger. I put more greens juiced and then powdered. But if you're going to supplement, you only need to supplement one thing, and that's a superfood blend. And then don't go crazy, because the more you're trying to digest and absorb, you can't fix malabsorption through nutrition. Let me put it that way. You cannot fix any of your problems through nutrition. That's where man's going wrong big time. That's where the natural health field is going wrong. They think everything is a lack of nutrition, and that that all you have to do is suck down all these vitamins and minerals and supplements and that, and everything will be better. These are not practitioners, because if you're a practitioner doing that, how long does it take you to realize you're not curing your patients like you should? Don't take long. It didn't take long for me, and then I switched. I had voices, and so I knew what I had to do. But you know what? People that live there just have to let some things go. We're at a level, we need to let the crap go now. It's just circling around like urine therapy. Every once in a while, it keeps circling around, and everybody drinks up their urine. What? I mean, this is toxic crap. People just don't get it. But there are people suffering so bad, they're willing to step up and try the junk and the crap like that instead of just eating fruits, berries, and melons and taking a few herbs and cleaning out the body and rebuilding it. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Sometimes get low blood sugar if no protein. That's what I was thinking. Where are you having your trouble? Is that why the paleo diet? Is this the one that was on the paleo diet? Nope, this isn't the one. Why? What gland are you having trouble with when you're having low blood sugar? You guys, you're supposed to help her. Adrenal glands, no question, because that's low energy. Don't go protein for that. Go to your adrenal glands and rebuild them for that. Go after that. Use a glandular for a little while, and then shift to the herbs. And then go after your kidneys. You got to get them kidneys working to really fix your adrenals. Remember the last video, we just had a discussion on that. I'm 62 years of age. Carolyn, listen, honey, you're 62. Go after your kidneys and your adrenal glands. That's what gets you. So go after those. Got moving your lymph system well. And your acupuncturist was 100% right. If you're going to supplement, go to some superfoods. That's got more nutrition than most animals ever get. You know, some animals, remember, only eat every 6 months, every month. So we're fixated in the wrong area. We're fixated on nutrition, which is important to shift, but that's easy. And again, people come in here and they're always talking, calling about what to eat. Listen. Produce section in your grocery store, okay? And with the accent on fruits, berries, and melons. Nothing hard about that. The nutritional side of health is the easiest side to change. If you have the self-discipline, you're strong, you want to be well, change your diet. Quit eating crap. Quit eating dead animals. You know, eat the fruits and the berries and the melons. Have a salad once in a while. I don't care. Have all that. But that's the easiest side. The real cause is the harder side, and that's the lymph system. And that is a big one, boy. Gee, many Christmas. That's much bigger than the blood, remember? 3 to 4 times bigger than your blood system. It's your lipid carrier system. It's your sewer system. It's your immune system. Hey, it's your immune system. Hey, it's your, it's major. Major. That's the system you want to go after. But you have to do it through the nutritional route. Fruits, berries, and melons. Hi, Dr. Morse. This is Gabriel. I have a question about a possible hernia. I've been noticing lately, every time I start up, I see it, feel it sometimes. You know what? I addressed this one. I'm not going to put this one in here because I've already addressed it, Gabriel, on the last video. I'm going to make note, Chris, addressed last video. Where are you going to go if you suspect, and I do suspect that's a hernia coming on you, where are you going to go? And first of all, you know that when you're starting to see a hernia, you're losing your connective tissue. Now, calcium plays a role in all structure. Calcium plays a role in all neurological. But going back to structure, calcium plays a big role, and even connective tissue. So you're going to go up here to the parathyroid, you're going to work on that. How do you work on something? Well, a couple ways. You detox it. In other words, you clean all the mucus and all the inflammation out of it. How do you do that? Well, obviously, you have to do the whole body because you can't just do the thyroid, parathyroid. So you got to get to the kidneys and get them filtering, get your lymph moving, clean up your bowels so all this can drain better. Your esophagus and everything sits on your bowel. Clean all that up. So you clean your sinus, get your sinuses. So to clean, you've got to go to the fruits, berries, and melons. To clean your body out. Vegetables will clean you to a certain point, but if you want to clean and get rid of tumors, you've got to go to the fruits and berries and the melons or the water fasting. There's nothing else to say about it. But then you can have a lot of help with increasing the speed of that, but then you can also have help in rebuilding those tissues. They'll rebuild with a raw food diet, but in the annals of our genetics and everything, it's just taking a while for things to happen. And the fruits and things, the quality is so bad that it's more and more difficult. So, where are you going to go? Herbs. You're going to go to our little friends, the herbs, to help you, to help clean the kidneys, to help clean livers and spleens and hearts and lungs and rebuild. Body loves to be healthy and rebuild itself. So anytime you see a loss of structure, sagging, herniations, suspecting aneurysms, bruising easy, spider veins, varicose veins, cramping, depression, big time depression. If psychiatrists only knew how simple it is to fix depression, but putting people on these antidepressants that only lead them to suicide, I don't know. I mean, we're still living in darky, agey thinking stuff. And this is Antonin? I have a hard time with some names, guys, forgive me. In several of his videos, YouTube channel, Dr. Morse mentions the possible use of glandulars when a patient condition requires their use, insofar as for deep tissue regeneration. Of course, one cannot expect to find such animal products at a health store. But could you please give some basic guidelines to select a reliable glandular provider, or even better, mention some of them? Well, I could do that. This one we have is I don't know where they're out of. I don't handle ordering anymore. But that I have to tell you where to get those. Most of these companies do not sell glandulars to lay people. They're all practitioner based. But I'm trying to open that up. I was going to put them on the website. We had them up for a while, but most companies get upset at us if we put them up there because glandulars are supposed to be distributed through practitioners. only. And that's the only reason why. But a lot of companies are putting them out there for you to buy them. But really, but most practitioners don't know how to use them either. I will say this: standard process, no way. They're commercial. They've changed now, and so they don't guarantee organic at all. And we only want organic, but we want something even more. We want humane. And New Zealand is the only place that really has great humane laws and stuff like this with the animals. And it's just, they really care. There's no Nutridyne company that I think they changed and became another company. There's Enzyme Process, which was one of Royal Lee's biochemical buddies, and he didn't think Lee had it right, standard process, and then opened up Enzyme Process. But they are stronger than standard process, no question. But these New Zealand's, I just really like the consciousness and everything else there. So I don't know what to tell you about that part of that. But could you please give some basic guidelines to select a provider? For my personal condition, I've been recommended to use adrenal, thyroid, and parathyroid glandular. I shall first try to help generate these glands with blended herbal formulas. Well, my first choice is diet and herbs, because they will eventually get you, depending upon whatever. It's just that when it comes to the parathyroid, when it comes to the adrenals, and it comes to the pituitary, the glandulars are much quicker in giving us a response. And most people have very chronic adrenals. And the herbs just don't seem to be fast or strong enough initially. Now, they get the job done, but that little kick, especially when you're dealing in someone whose life is not long to be on the planet. You just don't want to mess around. You want to get in there. You want to turn on the light. You want to turn on the glands. You want to get all these steroids and hormones and neurotransmitters moving. You really want to get some things going. So those people that don't have minor stuff and stuff, you don't have to do glandulars. You'll be fine. But those that are in the chronic levels, the problem is the young kids are in the chronic levels. So it's a mess. It's a mess. The parathyroid, I don't even know. All I can say is that the berries are the foods and the herbs for the glands. Not much is known about what berries and things are good for the parathyroid. We know that saw palmetto, not only for the prostate, but it is excellent for thyroid. Well, then it must be good for the parathyroid as well. But with that said, the specificness of tissue desiccated is a real energetic bump. And for some where we need those symptoms gone sooner than later because we're working on so many things very, importantly, then we need to use the glandulars, in my opinion. Now, maybe we regenerate mankind after a while, we won't need them anymore. But during this morass of unconsciousness and dark agey stuff, man's hurting pretty bad. I shall first try to help regenerate, but at some point, as a last resort, I may use glandulars, though I've been vegetarian than raw vegan for, you know what, and I don't even consider, when I'm dealing with a lot of raw foodists and vegetarian, but when we have chronic issues, we might have to visit a little and then go in another direction. Only because some people want their symptoms gone, like now, yesterday, because they've hurt so many years for so long, and they're just tired, they're worn out, they're beat up real bad. And so when they finally find truth, they want it yesterday. And I understand that. I really do. But hang in there. Relax. You're home. You're home. You're okay now. Now you've got your answers. You got your answers to God. You got your answers to wellness and health. And these are shortcuts, easy to do them, and you'll have your remedies if you want them. They're there for you. Thank you, my friend. Oh, this is Candy. I can read that. Candy. Farmer boy knows what candy is. I recently started a 80% fruit diet change. Good, Candy. And have been getting cankers in my mouth. Now, check, well, not from the natural sugars, but some of your fruit might be too acidic, so you have to look at that. You don't want to do pineapple. Pineapple, put them in my mouth. You just want to stay away from the acid fruits unless they're as ripe as possible. Just stay away from the acid fruits. Go more subacid. Sometimes when you're highly acidic and you start going into the fruits, it'll pull them just because you're detoxing. The same thing with hemorrhoids and the same thing with genital herpes and stuff like that. It can go real bad before it gets better. That O syndrome, that's a fact. It's a fact syndrome. But on the other side of this, you could be eating too many acid fruits. The kiwis and all the acid levels, you might have to get yourself away from that for a while. Get these herpes out of the mouth, detox yourself, and and get yourself more. It's not from the natural sugars. You could, if you wanted to, that bad, but I really don't recommend coming in the pineapples and stuff like that unless you're plant-derived, where you cut it and eat it right there. Squish your mouth out with, and maybe swallow a little bit of baking soda, aluminum-free baking soda. That's bicarbonate. Keep your mouth alkaline, because herpes is a viral, and virals take hold in acid environments. Alkaline environments dermatizes them. Look at this. Also, my energy level is very low. Is that because of my illness? ALS. Yep, a lot going on right now with ALS, isn't it? It's a quirky little way to get a lot of money is a bucket of ice water over your head. But you know what? All the money and all the awareness that gives around ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's, doesn't make it curable any more or any less. And I'm going to do more research. You notice whenever they say I need money for research, what does that do for the ALS today? The ALS 10 years from now, because that's been their slogan, cancer slogan, all these slogans for years. You know what it is? It's a carrot in front of your nose. There already is a cure for it. There always has been. There's a cure for everything, and it's unwinding. It's reversing how you created it. Make sense? Total sense. Because you can't get it out of this by treating it, because it isn't a disease. You're losing your nervous system. You've got to stop that and fix that. This is all chemistry out there. And the way man lives, the way man eats, he's losing his bodies, his physical bodies. And we need to rebuild them and teach man how to eat properly. Or could it be from my diet change? I am waiting for the 2-week detox kit. I ordered as well. Listen, sweetheart, move yourself as you go along here. Move yourself up to 90% fruit. Upper circulation, brain and nerve. 2 key formulas to stay on until you're done with this. Upper circulation, brain and nerve number 2. Those are 2 formulas I stay on in all MS, all cases of Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's, spinal cord, all neurological conditions. I'm going after those 2 formulas. At the same time, I'm going after the adrenal connection to the neurotransmitters. I'm going into the adrenals big time. That's your recharging battery to the autonomic. I'm going right there because that's key to ALS and all Parkinson's, MS. Those adrenals are key. So you're going after those. Of course, second key is going to be why the brain lesions, why all this? Acidosis, lymphatic system, kidneys, and adrenals. All tied there real nicely for you in a nice little bow, nice little box. So get in there and hit this, dear one. Candy, upper circ, brain, and nerve. 100% work toward 100% fruit and get out of this. You can get out of this. I've had ALS just like MS in wheelchairs and got them right out. I won't say got them right out, but when you consider 7-8 months getting up, not bad. Seems a long time when you're doing it, but not so long when you pass it and now you have your life back and you're looking back. Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, this is the same gentleman. Antonio. Anyway, I'll say Anto. Damn. Oh well. You know, I have a friend, and I think he was from New York area or Boston area. And his school, when he was growing up, had him not worry about the spelling, learn pronunciations and stuff like this. Anyway, he's worse than me. He can't spell nothing. And I felt so sorry for him. You know, they were trying a new way in his school to teach spelling. It didn't work. None of the kids learned how to spell anything, so he can't spell worth a crap. I know it. And then I'm going to an old Indiana school, country school that, don't know what to say. I just joined Dr. Morse's Herbal Health Club. Thanks. Welcome aboard. Welcome in. It's nice. We're just a club of healthy-minded people, spiritual-minded people. That's all we are. And we just help people to get well. Simple. There's no hidden nothing. And browsing through the botanicals available on the online shop, a question raised, seemingly not covered in the... Ooh, good. What's this? What can determine the choice of one given formula insofar as the endocrine balance between the different conditionings, tinctures, capsules, or glycerin? Ah, good question. All right. The glycerins, I was trying to get away from those that are sensitive to alcohols. The problem with glycerin, it needs to be metabolized, so it needs your liver and your gallbladder. So, and it's another type lipid, and I thought it'd be better, and it's okay. I mean, it's twice as strong as the alcohol ones because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's just been totally pressed, so you have to be real careful with the dosage. It has to be half dosages of the alcohol ones. Be real careful with those. But I got those more for the kids and those people with alcohol sensitive because in reality, the alcohol tinctures work faster and quicker. And we talked about the antispasmodic one to show you the difference between the time frame between stopping a seizure with the alcohol-based antispasmodic and the glycerin-based antispasmodic. And there's a good 10 minutes difference, and that's too long. So I don't even consider the alcohol antispasmodic and will not make it again. Because when you're dealing in an antispasmodic, you want something that has a quick return. You got a seizure going on, you've got cramping, you've got pain, all these sort of things. You're using that for that. And so you want as quick of a response as you can get to stop these things. Shaking, and all these sort of things. I like to do one capsule and one tincture of the kidneys and lymphatic formulas. I've always lived with the idea that most people are malabsorbed and that the tinctures, and they have a little pancreatic and gallbladder, always do when you're malabsorbed. Why? Because the lymph system is backed up in the tree trunk, and then the branches as well, right? Absolutely. And the liver and pancreas are branches on the tree being the central GI tract. Absolutely. I like the alcohol tinctures because I think they can absorb much quicker, make it through routes, definitely take it to a cell and get it in a cell much quicker than anything else. That's the positive benefits about alcohol, is getting it through a cell membrane wall. The capsules are seen to be stronger, but you have to have good digestion and absorption. I use the capsule herbs to clean the GI tract more. So I use the lymphatic capsules to help me clean the bowel wall on top of the stomach and bowel and on top of the GI group. That's how bad our GI tracts are. So I'm doing that, and then with whatever absorption and use that will have to the lymph system. So I'm using both. Same philosophy with the kidneys as well. Willie's a good friend of mine. He's a naturopathic Amish healer up in Shipshewana, Indiana. He thinks that the kidney one capsule is the strongest, so he does a lot with that, and I like his thinking on that. So I like both of those. And if you'll notice the 14-week protocol, I use both of those when it comes to the kidneys and the lymphatics. Everything else I'm using the tinctures because they get to the body better. But the capsules are stronger. No question. If you have good digestion and absorption and you don't mind taking a bunch of capsules, I'm not a capsule taker. I don't like taking capsules, so I like the liquids. Done, gone. I don't have the time. Guessing there must be great differences of effectiveness, but the question may be asked. Since I'm just discovering these nice herbal blends, I don't know how to choose between tincture capsules or glycerin or blend teas. Well, the blended teas actually are for those that can't afford the tinctures and the capsules. They're a cheaper way to get the herbs in. But I like the tea. If you want to drink something warm when it's cold out, drink a tea. You know, don't go your coffees and your cooked foods. Use teas to warm yourself up. Well, if you can drink a tea to warm yourself up, but at the same time cleans and repairs you, how good is that? So that's why the Heal All tea. And the 3-lung tea. At the same time, it's breaking up mucus and opening up your sinuses and stuff like that. Why not take advantage of that at the same time? I use all of them together on people. I use the teas, I use the tinctures, and I use the capsules. Because it just, you know, it's like a tea. You have a nice tea to drink. For women, I made it as a douching tea. We can use it for colorectal cancers. I mean, you can use all kinds of stuff. So herbs are so much fun. Fun, 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 fun. Thanking you for your patience reading this and this. Oh, anytime, my friend. Such as guidelines. You know what you might want to buy? $20. $20. But I did that video on all our herbal line. And it's all our herbs. And what they do, excuse me, why I created them, and it's $20 and it tells you everything about them. And I tried to go into great length with all that in there. So for $20, you know, covers our costs with a little bit of profit in there to help us go on. So you might, you might want to do that. Writing from France, country, B Camp, Claude Manette, Renee, Ocean Plasma, Jules. Good fellows, but we also, Louis Pasteur, not so nice. You know, I don't know who you are, but I like you. I like how you think. Louis Pasteur, not so nice. Well, you know, you got to realize we thought he was doing good. He only killed, what, 1 or 2 of his kids, right? It's just that whole thing of now we have to deal with that insanity. But, you know, everything's for a reason. Everything's for a reason. And I think that, you know, time, what is that in creation? It's ongoing. It's forever. This is just an ongoing drama. But, you know, things lift and lift and lift. But I don't know. This planet needs to a lift. It's been going down so far. It needs a lift. Don't you think, Judy? This is Judy. Dear Dr. Morse, I'm asking you have a program that can assist persons that need your formulas but cannot afford the full price, especially if more than one is needed. Please respond ASAP. Judy, yeah, I did that on the last video, Judy. I do. We do have some donations. One lady has been donating faithfully. She's a sweetheart. We're helping. We have about $1,000 back there. We still have some herbs on the shelves because sometimes UPS breaks some bottles as they play football with a lot of the boxes, you know. And so we get to keep some of the bad label damages, but the herbs inside are good. So we distribute those out to everyone we can, you know. So there is. You have to call in the clinic, and you're going to be calling 941 area code 766-8068 and ask for Jen W. Or you can email this company to Jen W. That's Jennifer Willette. She handles that. She's one of the older members, previous owner, but she handles that and makes those discretions. But I'll tell you that we will help you. My name is Davaun. Devon. And I'm 24-year-old female living in Florida. Wow, you're around here. I struggle with chronic acne and sluggish lymphatic system. Look at how many questions, guys, are around the chronic acne. Oh, one too many. Chronic acne, rosaceous, we were just talking about psoriasis this morning. It's all over the place. Dermatitis, it's all over the place. It's all the same stuff. You get your kidneys filtering. You clean your lymphatic system through those kidneys, and that skin will clear up as beautiful as you please. You don't get your kidneys filtering, and it just keeps chewing on you. And it's not a pretty picture whatsoever, sweetheart. And so you really want to get into, and just what you said, and a sluggish lymphatic system, you hit it right on the top. And I started eating raw to really cleanse my body. But I would like some herbs, if necessary, to speed up the process. I heard about you through a friend, and I'm very interested. Was curious how much it is to have my eyes examined and how I go about sending you a photo. All right. We have a video up there that Jen B had showed you how to take an eye picture from a cell phone. If you can't find that, please call up and ask Jen B personally, or email her and ask her how to do that. You can get me a free picture by just doing a beautiful picture with your cell phone and emailing it to Jen B. No charge. Okay. If you want me to write you a program, then I charge $150 and I write you a 14-week protocol. I use your eyes, I use whatever blood work, anything you've got to help me to look at you, I'll do that for you. If not, we have a 14-week protocol. If it's too expensive, talk to Jen B or one of them. We have 3 levels here that you can go on to. We have basic Fab 4, and then we have a middle program. So, and you can augment any way you want. But you want to get your lymphatic system moving. You want to get this up because you sound like you suffered long enough and skin problems, no way. So it's just showing what's going on inside, and that's not good. Because your inside looks worse than your outside. That's scary. You know, what you see on your skin, inside is much worse. So this is why you have to fix these things. And I would get up on there. You want to get your kidneys filtering, just like you said. You hit it right on the head, sweetheart. You name the system that's right causing this problem. And you get that system filtering through your kidneys. And look, you're at the age to have kidney and adrenals down. Check your blood pressure, because I bet you have low blood pressure and kidneys. I mean, that's adrenals. I mean, that's a big one. I might have to go here. I have an appointment in 5 minutes. So I tell you what, let's cut this. And, oh man. I had a salad for lunch, and now I have dry mouth from a salad. Amazing. I think it was the onions. Something. How the hell? All right, this is Tracy. I'm going to do one more. This is for Tracy. I have suffered from ulcerative colitis since 1984. Holy crap. And you don't have colon cancer now? I mean, these acids chew you so bad since 1984? You've got to be one hurting puppy, Tracy. I am in my 50s and have just recently became a vegetarian. Oh, and no one told you? Oh, man. All that meat eating all these years on top of ulcerative colitis? Oh, my God. Oh, I have been on drugs and pregnancy. Ow! On and off. See, steroids, anti-inflammatory. So if you're on an anti-inflammatory, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I have inflammation. For you guys, you know the truth. You just simply replace inflammation with the word acidosis in your home. You know exactly what cytochemistry is causing this. You know exactly what system is involved with this. You're right down the line. And these guys should know too. But no, give them prednisone. Let them wreck their adrenals that are already weak. Let's just take them on down to Hellville. And that's just what's going on here, honey. You're 50 years old. You've been hunking down on your adrenals the wrong way, because those are the ones you need to trip the kidneys up to move this out in the first place. And if someone puts you on a steroid, my first question is doesn't my adrenals produce these type of corticosteroids? Then how the hell isn't my adrenals fixing this problem? Oh, they're down, then how can you fix them? By giving me more steroids? That fixes them? And off over the years due to flare-ups. Remember, this is interstitial lymphatic constipation, and meaning you're highly acidic around your cells. The next stage is intracellular acidosis, and there's only one word that you call when that happens to a great extent, and we use the word cancer for that one. You need to get this fixed up, sweetheart. And then yesterday, I have the type that starts with mucus and ends in bleeding. Mucus. What system are we dealing with here? Blood. No, you were wrong. Lymph. No, I got you. You said lymph in the first place. It is lymph. You see what I'm saying? You're always going to bleed. That acidosis is always going to rip on the capillaries and going to break them down. So you're always going to see that bleeding part of that. But bleeding does bring an alkalinity to the area. That's why you have bloodletting and bleeding, because it cools down that hot acid side. I have been doing well with the vegetarian diet and have started to wean myself off the drugs. I would like yesterday, but I would move far up the line. Probably stay away from your acid fruits, but I'd go to your sweet, your subacid. I'd go to your melons. I would go to some berries. If you can tolerate them, I don't know if you can tolerate them with the seeds, but try to tolerate them. Apples, fresh applesauce, things like that. Things that heal and cool, alkalize, things like that. Yeah, and get those kidneys filtering, get your adrenals. You're going to have to... This is a case, guys, where you want to use the adrenal glandular, because she's been on prednisone for years, off and on. That is an adrenal wrecker. And so you want to build her adrenals up. The problem already was in the adrenal glands. So what they did is they just used a chemical product that matches type corticosteroids, although it has a lot of different actions. But that's what you want to get, is pop up her adrenals. So that's where you would use a 400 milligram adrenal glandular, and at the same time go after the kidneys and get them filtering and, get everything up and going. I would definitely use the stomach and bowel formulas, and start getting that inflammation out, cleaning the bowel wall off. Even though this is interstitial, you want to get the lymph moving that way and get your lymph nodes opened up and stuff. But definitely, you want to cool off the mucosa too. And cooling off the mucosa can be done with the stomach and bowel formula. It can be done with the stomach formula. It can be done with the Heal All capsules. Even the GI broom is as astringent as that is. It's all on the mucosa, which is where the mucus is coming from. And it's just you're highly inflamed. You're backed up lymphatically, and you have to open all your doors and clean yourself out. Just recently, and this is why you never do proteins on top of any type of GI tract problems. That would be insanity, to say the very least. And yet I see one medical doctor after another recommending high proteins with all these things, and it's like either you're going to low-grade medical doctors, or they just don't get it. I noticed that I ache everywhere, and I'm not sure if it's because of the meds or if the meds were covering some underlying health issues. Well, think about what you just said. Remember, the system you're having trouble with is systemic. So you're going to have trouble, not just interstitially in the colon. You're going to have trouble head to toe, some degree or another. So you're just feeling that. So as you start opening up your kidney filtration of this lymph system, and you start hydrating interstitially with a base-dominant diet, you're going to see this movement of acids and the hydration interstitially and the movement of these acids more through the kidney channels, and then all the symptoms disappearing, all the inflammatory problems, and then any tissue damage can be repaired. Hard to repair tissue in an acidic medium. The body keeps trying, but generally just scars or develops adhesions in these areas. I admit that I like my beer and red wine, but I am trying to knock them off my list. Well, knock beer off, but if you want to keep a robust, organic red wine, sulfite-free, I have no problems with that. But if you have fungus, don't bitch. I was raised on a dairy farm. Oh, you poor girl. Oh, my God. Say no more. Say no more. My sister wanted to do dairy cattle. It only took her about a year, and then they got a loan from FHA, and they got like 50 head, but it's like, my dad was going, you're nuts. He's an old dairy farmer, and he's going, you're crazy. Dairy farmers, you're locked to your job permanently. You don't travel, you don't have fun unless you get somebody to milk your cows for you. I was raised on a dairy farm and drank a lot of milk unpasteurized. Doesn't matter. You're loaded. I can tell you what your lymph system looks right now. You got some work to unwind, I'm telling you, honey. So unwind. I also would suffer from large red and very painful sores, but would go away with a teaspoon of baking soda. See how that is? Why would it go away with baking soda? Other side of chemistry? Other side of chemistry. So right in our face, this is acidosis, medicals. Right in our face. Not alkalosis, acidosis. Another little proof, just another little proof right here. You know, in water, my father was plagued with painful boils and found this to work because it's antacid. This is bicarbonate, and that's why it works, because your problem is acidosis. But lots and lots of mucus. Lots of mucus from this, and your dad's probably loaded. If he's popping boils all over the place, he's loaded with mucus. He's loaded with lymph. That's the problem. That's not good. Typical dairy farmers, though, to be honest with you, what I see here. What would your suggestion be for me? I'm finding the vegetable juices and eating raw to be very gassy and hard on my stomach. Go to your fruits, your berries, and your melons. Smaller meals, more often. Chew, super chew, because this is suggestion that you might also, sweetheart, have a pancreatic problem, because when you have ulcerative colitis, that means that your lymph system in your colon wall is backed up and sitting and burning back on you. Well, guess where else? Small bowel, pancreas, gallbladder, liver, stomach, esophagus. We can go right on down the jawbone connected to the, because it's a systemic problem. You can't just back up in one area when you have a systemic flood and you shut off the eliminative organ to that. The whole system backs up all the way to the brain. And the gassy part of that I don't like, suggesting, I don't know, you had a lot of lipids. It could be your gallbladder. But then on the other hand, you got that much mucus, your absorption probably sucks. And you probably have very little fatty acid absorption since you have major stagnation lymphatically in the gut. You're probably not getting hardly any lipids to that liver. I also noticed that my eyes went from brown to hazel to dark blue ring around the dark outside. Sick and tired of being sick, Tracy. Well, Tracy, let's fix ourselves, okay, sweetheart? You got to get in on that lymph system and get it moving. You just you've had a mucus-forming diet, a major mucus-forming diet all your life. So you've got to get rid of all the mucus, head to toe. And you're going to see a lot in your stool. You're going to see a lot in your urine. You might see a lot coming out the nose, vaginally, belly button, ears, mouth, eyes. Very important, sweetheart, that you get all this mucus out of you. No one ever told your father you don't feed milk, cattle milk to children, especially even raw. You don't feed a ton and a half animal's milk to a little baby, human baby. You want to feed your baby an animal milk, go milk a monkey, female monkey, if you can catch her and get that. So we have to go to a herbivore, a totally different species, because they're gentle and sweet. So you got to get your kidneys filtering, you got to get your adrenal glands up there, you got to get this colitis out of there. You got to get all this inflammation out of your body, get your pancreas and gallbladder, everything up, digesting better, because this is going to show you some malabsorption, a whole bunch of things here, because this is the stuff that cancers or lymphomas are made of. Not trying to scare you, but I'm saying this is the lymphoma city type. Milk drinkers, and I was one of them too. Not on a dairy farm, but I drank milk. We were farmers. But initially we had farms where they raised dairy cattle on them. Thank God there was a guy milking for us, so we didn't have to do that. But then it went to hog farms. So you can get yourself well, honey. Now, what's this? I also noticed that my eyes went from brown. You mean hazel? Brown to hazel? Well, that's an improvement. If your eyes went from brown to hazel, that's an improvement. Now, to dark blue ring around the dark outside. Well, how old are you? I am in my 50s. I'd have to see your eyes to see what you're saying to me, Tracy, but it's possible you're looking at a skin ring. I don't think it's a cholesterol ring because that's a white translucent ring. But I will say this, it also could be a poor circulation ring. Let me show you what a cholesterol ring looks like in a brown eye. See that white around the brown? That is a cholesterol ring. That is stroke and heart attack anytime. A blue eye, see the ring around the outside border? And you will tend to see a little haziness in the pupil. That's cataract. That is the same stuff as this, and these both are cholesterol. Yeah, those are all cholesterol rings. Don't want to none of that. Not too good. So I don't know which one you have. You'd have to show me your eyes. You can send it to Jen B and said that I made a statement over this, telling your name, Tracy, and that you mentioned you had brown eyes to turn to blue, because I won't forget that. Your brown eyes turned to hazel, and then a blue ring. Get a picture to Jen B and I'll take a look at them and just see what it is. I'm going to have to shut this off because Jen's on the phone and I don't know whether I have someone coming in or not. So I better cut this off for now. But we have a lot more to go over, and it's been a wild weekend, so I apologize. I'm just kind of like, need a good thrill something. A great navel orange this big would do. A seeded watermelon. You know, when we ask Santa Claus for things, watermelon, ripe navel oranges, anything good. This has been a bad year down in Florida for good food, in my opinion. I've had some really good mangoes, but short-lived, so it's been tough here too. Costa Rica, hellbound. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next video. Appreciate all your efforts and love, your support, your understanding. We're in this together. You guys have done so well. Don't forget to go to moveyourlymph.com. You know, they asked me to talk about this, and sometimes I forget, and I got a big note right here in front of me. But you never know. Truth is a hard spoonful to take for governments and everything else because they've gotten so out of balance. But why should it be? When you find something that doesn't go down the right road for you, you simply get off and go to another road. Never look back. It doesn't matter what the past is. That's your ball and chain. And don't carry your ball and chain around, okay? You don't need to. You're all too beautiful to carry and waste your time in the past. Live in the now. Live and exude love and beauty and ethics and all of that. So when someone meets you, they're meeting God. Ethical, truthful, straight, loving, all those things you represents the higher aspect of the positive side. There's always the negative side of God. You know, we can blame some other being, but God has all things wrapped in it. So it can be alarming when you find out more and more and more about things. But it's enough to say, though, take care of yourselves. Yes. I was trying... Yes. Is that from...
She's on the line right now.
Oh, she's on 345?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I need... would you have Jim B bring her chart and everything in here? And yep, I gotta go. So, take care of yourselves. I gotta run. But I do love each and every one of you. You've been good. You just keep working through your stuff. And enjoy your road to Wellville. And keep working on your spirituality. I'll do some spiritual tapes here. I'm just trying to interface them. There's so many sick souls out there. Just, you know, we got a lot of work to do out there. So each and every one of you become healers and help your fellow man. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And everything will be good. And it'll help to raise you to the lofty heights of God and love and all of that other. Because remember, you get what you give. And this is just a pure fact. My granny used to tell me that. I used to go, well, but you do. You get back what you give. So if you give divine love, you get divine love back. And that is so cool. Because there's nothing any better than your happiness. And so you should always be happy, or try to be that way. Don't let anybody bring you down. Learn your strengths. That's why you're here. Become stronger. You know, you don't have to be mean to be stronger. You just have to be straight and truthful. Love you guys. May the blessings be. Namaste.